They pop crowds. They pop corn. They pop culture. It's the Lowdown with Shane and Elliot.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the latest installment of the Lowdown Podcast. I am the voice of PCW, Elliot Popston, here in studio at Casa de Popston. And alongside of me,
you're welcome.
Alongside of me is the founder of the hottest independent wrestling promotion in the Mid-Atlantic. He's the owner and travel agent of Flyer Float Travel, where you can book your dream getaway at flyerfloattravel.com. He is also the host of the Shane event, New York's greatest export, Shane Dorr.
Man, I am excited to be here tonight, man. All I can say, I since Sunday, all I can think about is scissor me, daddy ass. That's all I can think about. I tell you, it's going to be a great episode. A little late. That's why I didn't tell you ahead of time. What's going on, man? I'm excited,
dude. Yeah, we got a good show coming up today. We have a special guest coming on later on in the show. But first, I want to get to a special guest host. He is a podcast enthusiast. He's a tech guru. He, just like one of his favorite wrestlers of all time, he's been known to outwork everyone.
Oh, God.
Although some may argue he just works everyone. Taking his seat at what we have now dubbed as the Cool Kids Table, Johnathan Winburn.
Thank you. I actually had some stuff written down, but that might have beat what I had. But
he pulled out the sticky note.
Here was the intro I wrote.
All right.
Oh, no.
He is a 6-time fantasy football champ. He is soon to be Kevin Nash's favorite podcaster. Yes, he is. He has one of the hottest, if not the hottest, Funko Pop collection. He is not your average wrestling mark. They call him Handbook for a reason. Johnathan Winburn.
I'm lost at the Christian bit. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
No, God, please, no.
That's how everybody was reacting last night whenever Christian came out. Oh, man.
I love the intro, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man. We're excited you could join us and stuff. Had to update the flyer and everything. Yeah. Exciting.
I'm stoked.
So, man, we've had a pretty big week this past week.
So much.
We had a ton of wrestling. We had college football, and this week NFL starts. But let's talk about wrestling. And when the special guest joins us, we'll cut to him and everything. But man, we started the week with Worlds Collide. Not Worlds Collide, excuse me. Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the Castle first.
I thought it was a good show. In my opinion, one of the better shows that WWE's had in recent history for sure.
From top to bottom.
Yeah. And match of the night, in my opinion, was definitely Sheamus and Walter, or Gunther.
Can't say Walter.
I loved how they brought back Imperium.
Yes.
I thought that was a good touch with Giovanni and Ludwig Kaiser. Even Asher caught that. He's like, Dad, Imperium's back. Yeah. Just like that, too. Always got that deep.
I mean, based on what we saw, why has WWE not done a show in the UK sooner?
Yeah, I'm sorry. 65, 70,000 tickets not enough for you? I mean,
I think that changes after this past show.
Oh, well,
they used to do
Triple H thing.
They used to do the European tour regularly too, right?
You better bring back that European Championship, brother.
Well, that might be something they look at doing, especially with NXT Europe coming out.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
The question is, do they go NXT European Champion or do they just say European Champion?
I'm not sure. I
love the European title. I thought it was great.
I think of D'Lo Brown. Remember D'Lo?
I remember D'Lo.
The head nod.
Yeah.
He did have
You're looking at the real deal now.
The Lowdown podcast.
No, not podcast.
But no, I remember D'Lo. He I always liked the frog splash, toad splash, whatever it was he did.
Toad Splash is Rey Mysterio.
The lowdown was
No, that's Tadpole Splash.
Deadpool.
the lowdown was this frog splash. Thing.
Okay, so was that not the
He did Sky High, which was
Sky High? That was
sit down.
Okay, that was a sit down slam. Okay,
Yeah,
powerbomb,
I
whatever.
love D-Lo.
So yeah, man. Then what? I mean, what? Well, something y'all had on that. I mean, obviously Sheamus and Gunther ending to me was very lame.
I like hoss fights, man, and that whole match was just like old school,
Yeah.
hard hitting bruiser.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing the photos after the match,
Bro.
of like Sheamus's chest, and I mean, I would not want to go through that.
Yeah, it
Didn't pay me enough.
no. I mean, I think every time I'd hear a chop, I would think of JD Drake.
Oh, all day.
Because, I mean, you're talking about someone who's got meat cleavers for hands. I mean, that guy, man. Yeah.
I'm trying to think too. Another bit that stuck out to me that episode made was Tyson Fury's presence. Not at the end of the sing along. Was not a fan of the sing along.
Knocking out.
But the clubbing blow.
He came right across, caught him on the chin.
I'm like, dude, he just knocked him out cold. I
Dude.
thought that was incredibly well done.
Yeah, it Austin Theory.
Dude.
I'm cashing in. No, you're not. Bam.
And he, with the meat, I mean, just clubbed him in the face. Oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought the Drew McIntyre and Reigns match, I thought it was good. Karrion Kross got involved but didn't get involved. His presence was there, talking trash to Drew, distracted Drew a little bit. But what we did see is something that I feel like a lot of fans, I know we've talked about it, Shane. I think Johnathan's even been on some of that conversation, is bringing in Jay and Jimmy's little brother, Solo Sikoa.
About time.
We've been asking for it for I don't know how long now.
He took down that hood, and I'm like, that is an Uso, bro. I mean, because we the ones. Bro, I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah,
I want to see the follow up now. You build it right. You got me hyped. Now let's see what you do with it.
Yeah, my question
Lose that blonde hair.
My question becomes, which way do they take it? Do they take him back to NXT, turn him heel, and he takes out Braun Breaker? Then you have him handling NXT and the rest of the bloodline handling WWE, or do you put him on something like the Intercontinental? Or
You talking about the new Uso?
yeah,
No. I mean, I think.
I guess my question is: are they putting a belt on him? Do you think, or is he just there to be an enforcer?
They're going to build him up. They're going to build him. They need to. I mean, I don't think he needs a belt to justify who he is. Now he's associated with the bloodline.
Sure.
He is a bloodline. He's like an identical twin. He looks identical to Jimmy and Jay.
Identical triplet.
Yeah, touche. So just him having that association and having that name behind him, they need to change his name.
Yeah, I agree.
He needs to be Uso.
They don't call him Solo Sikoa or Solo Uso.
No, he needs to be
Call him
Uso.
Jeffrey.
I definitely don't see him going back to NXT.
No,
nowadays,
Jeffrey.
especially the way they brought him in on such a big show. But my question is, what happens to Sami Zayn now?
Yeah, where's
Is
his
he the-
involvement?
is he the odd
So,
man out?
well, here's what I wonder: does Solo take Sami Zayn out, and Sami Zayn ends up joining forces with Kevin Owens,
Now that would make more sense.
and then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go after the Usos for the tag team titles?
Well, they're both Canadian, eh? So that makes
What's that
sense.
all the boot?
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
Well,
I would roll with that.
And everyone knows in real life they're best friends, so
And then they had that awesome rivalry in NXT when
they did.
when Owens debuted. Well, shortly after.
Well, and don't forget, a couple of weeks ago after SmackDown, you saw in one of the dark matches, or no, after SmackDown went off the air, you saw Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn embrace, big hug in front of a live crowd. That everybody was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Well, they definitely teased some stuff with KO and Sammy recently. KO came out and confronted him, and Sammy wouldn't use the chair.
Yeah,
Kind of caused some friction.
it did. That's a good point. We definitely saw that like you said, that friction there. which you've had friction from the beginning with Sammy and Jay. Jimmy's kind of been the one to kind of calm Jay down. But now that we got Baby Brother in the picture, surely Baby Brother's going to end up signing with Jay, and they end up getting Sammy out. Is my thought. Because, like you said, now they have that enforcer, so to speak.
Speaking of the main event, do you think it was a smart move for them to keep the belt on Roman? I know I have my thoughts.
So, at first, I thought, yeah. But I read today that he's about to take another leave of absence. And if that's the case, then I don't think it was a good move.
Every time I hear you taking a leave of absence, though, he's like, doesn't really go away that long.
Yeah, I don't know what they mean by that. But for me, I feel like a champion should be present. Doesn't mean they're defending every week, but they should be present on television,
prepared to defend every week.
And I don't like both belts being on him right now, anyways, because you never see him on Raw. He's always on SmackDown. For me, that's a problem. I just don't like it.
One of those titles should have changed hands at that pay-per-view, in my opinion. If I was booking it, either the Intercontinental title, belt, whatever you want to call it, or Drew getting his moment that he deserved, that COVID kind of robbed from him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have pulled that trigger. I think I would have went the Drew angle.
Yeah, I thought that going into the show that they were going to kind of try to recreate that British Bulldog moment, have Drew kind of go over, and then watching the match, just how much Roman was hated by the crowd in the middle of the match. I was like, they got to let Roman keep it. I mean, it's just, you can't pay to get that kind of heat, especially not there. I mean, I know that Drew was the hometown boy, so they had a lot, but it was like.
But at the same time, can you pay to get that kind of pop? I mean, I liken it to if they would have chosen not to have given Daniel Bryan at the time, now Bryan Danielson, the title back at WrestleMania 30. I feel like Drew winning in Cardiff would have had that type of.
It would have been bigger. I think it would have been bigger.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of spoke, and I told you, I think they're ultimately building towards Roman versus Dwayne The Rock at some point, and I think that at that point that becomes bigger than having
the belt.
Drew win. Or I do agree it's bigger than the belt, but if Roman loses before then, I think it diminishes the match a little. I mean, Roman's the run he's on, it just makes sense for that to kind of be his. Not necessarily that The Rock would go over, but just the moment between him and The Rock. I think if he loses, that kind of puts a damper on that match.
Well, and I get it, but at the same time, when you had that match, surely you're not going to try and say title versus legacy or something, right? I mean,
sure they will,
but
that's totally up their alley.
Everybody knows that The Rock's not going to win it because he's not coming back for another match.
Why?
Or does he win it and then come?
It's the Rock Cena story all over again,
and then Hall of Fame.
It's the Rock Cena thing. Rock beat Cena or Rock beat Punk.
Rock beat Punk
for the belt.
I mean, you got a couple different ways you could go. I mean, Rock could win the belt, and just come out on Raw, SmackDown, and just retire right there in the ring.
Go on out.
Give the belt. Then you kind of also
relinquish
have
it.
The situation that Triple H is now in charge, so The Rock could win, and they could call back, the Rock Triple H rivalry, and Triple H just screw The Rock somehow the following night.
That would be genius.
Well, guys, before we continue that, we have our special guest of the evening coming. Excuse me. Let's see here. He is the two-time AOML champion, CWF heavyweight and tag team champions, NWA Anarchy television champion, NWA Georgia Junior heavyweight champion, two-time NWA Wildside television champion, the 2014 PWI Top 500 wrestler, current Ring of Honor and AEW commentator. He is the ageless one, Caprice Coleman.
Man, this is an honor. What's up, Caprice?
How's it going, man? I'm happy to be here. Sorry about the delay. I just landed, and I hear like a kickback. Is that me? I hear myself.
Is it? Can you?
Like when I'm talking, I hear myself right in the back.
I don't hear it on my end.
It may be something I'm doing.
Hold on one second. Let's see here.
Hope you got some good food, Caprice.
How about now?
I do. Hello? Yeah, it's like when I say it, I hear it like 1 second behind at the same tone.
Hold on. Let's see here. Let's see. Still?
Hello? Yeah, man, that's crazy. Let me hang these up.
Are they AirPods?
It could be the AirPods.
All right, can you hear me now?
I hear you loud and clear.
All right. Still.
All right,
let's just go. I'm gonna get on my own nerves. Like my own voice is gonna get on my nerves.
All right, hold on 1 second. I think I can fix this. Give me 1 second. How about now?
All right, hello. That did it.
Hey,
look at that.
Caprice is like, thank the Lord.
All right, hello. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
Yes. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, guys. How's it going?
Oh man, it's going great. We first and foremost, not to be too punny here, but we're honored to have you for you to give us your time this evening. And man, just thank you. I think all three of us follow you on social media and stuff. And
wow, okay.
You're huge. You're huge in your community. We've Shane's been following your career for a while. I know. We have a mutual friend in Tracy Myers, who's been on the show a couple times. And man, just first, thank you for taking your time. I want to first say I absolutely love your commentary. I think you and Ian Riccoboni is like one of the probably one of my favorite announcing teams by far.
Oh man, that's good. That's big. Thank you.
And everyone just heard just a small tidbit of your resume. You've been doing this since, if I remember correctly, the 90s.
Yeah, 1997.
And you're the ageless one for a reason, because man, you don't look
younger.
You don't look a day over 25, brother. I'm telling you.
Thanks, man.
So man, just let the people know the ageless one, Caprice Coleman. First, it was hard for me to realize that you were a heel a lot of the times, because of how much I see you on social media, how involved you are with the community. You're a pastor, if I remember correctly. Right. And man, just take us through the journey. What's it been like being the ageless one, Caprice Coleman?
I think the ageless one with me is a state of mind of just realizing that I'm blessed to be where I'm at and as healthy as I am, with my body in the same shape and my mind in my right mind. And I don't take that for granted. I believe everybody has an ageless version of themselves, and it's just taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, body, and soul, and running on optimum fuel. We could walk around and just eat what we want and do what we want. It's kind of like using unleaded fuel or whatever, where you're going to get there. And then there's that premium fuel you can put inside yourself where it's the best of you. You desire the best for yourself, and you give yourself the best. And that way you're able to perform the best. And to me, that's the rookie body, the veteran mind, the silver tongue, the ageless one. And so I realized through the years that I've been in this sport, 27 years, I don't have any nagging injuries, and God has been good to me. And so that's just the phase I'm in now. And so I enjoy it, man. I am a minister. I don't have a church, like my own church, but I do minister. I do go places to preach. And I am at a church every Sunday where I preach there sometimes. And so it's never conflicted between wrestling and ministry. If anything, I believe wrestling has catapulted my ministry in a way where I'm able to reach people that probably wouldn't go to church, just off gates, but they will come to hear a wrestler preach, or hear me even outside of the pulpit. Because I have a saying, it's like, preach the word. And if you have to, use words.
Yep. And
that's me saying that, it doesn't always have to be behind the pulpit. And you don't always have to be per se preaching. I think the loudest sermons are the life you live in front of people. And the integrity that you hold around those people as well.
Good.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I was supposed to finish there or
no. Taking it in.
So we
go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was about to say no. We were the silver tongue had us wrapped for a minute, so we were just listening. But typically, I think this is what Shane was about to go into. We start off with a segment called the Shane Event. It's just some rapid fire questions that Shane's himself will ask you. Well, Shane, I'll let you explain it.
So legitimately, Caprice, all it is it's. So when I find out who we're interviewing, who we have the opportunity to talk to, I come up with 10 different terms, thoughts that I associate with said person. So these are just going to be 10 things. Yeah, it's just going to be 10 random things that I thought of immediately when I found out we were interviewing you. So you just say the first thing that comes to mind when you hear it. It can be
crap.
It can be
okay. Oh boy.
It can be a word, it can be a sentence. You could This
is it.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
It's the thing right here. It's gonna go viral.
No.
Crazy.
This is no setups. I promise it'll be good. So the first thing I think of when I think of you, I do follow your social media heavily. So the word Colemanism.
Yeah.
So expound upon that word for me.
Okay. Colemanism is basically confidence, dipped in humility and wrapped in grace, man. It's basically like it's me accepting who I am and willing to walk in it with humility, but also with a confidence, knowing that I have an assignment given to me. And with that assignment, I can't walk it by myself. So if God is walking with me, if God is for me, who could be against me? And so a dose of Colemanism sometimes is like thoughts that I have, a lot of times, I wouldn't say wisdom, but just thoughts that make people think, you know what I mean? That has made me think. And Colemanism is also, it's like, putting over other people over as well, as far as like being that cheerleader in somebody else's corner. Somebody's doing something great or whatever, you're able to jump on that side too, and you succeed when they succeed, you succeed. And so Colemanism is all of that. Basically, is just, I don't know, an accentuation of accepting yourself and walking in it. And when you walk in it, other things come around it, and you embrace it, man, because there's only one you in this world. You're unique to everybody, and if you try to be like other people, then you're not being yourself. But once you accept who you are and you walk in it, you have your own ism. You know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what floats with you and what doesn't float with you. And once you learn yourself, nobody can take you outside of yourself. And there's so many people that, almost have a sign on their head, like, I'm going to find myself. I'll be back one day. You know what I mean? It's finding yourself. And I feel the real way you could find yourself is through God, really. But in so many ways, it's learning yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically. And once you do that, you're able to express yourself in a way that is unique to everybody else. So that's Colemanism.
Awesome. NWA Wildside.
Oh, man. Great memories. Where I started at, I started Omega, but Wildside was the first like TV adventure I had. And it was the place where I learned who Caprice Coleman really was, because before, I was, like I said, I was trained by the Hardy Boys, and we were going to all these places, but then, they got pulled up to WWE, And it was me, Shannon Moore, Shane Helms, Christian York. We were kind of just there. And Shannon got called to WCW, but there's this place he wanted me to go that was in Georgia and in Tennessee with Burt Prentice as well. And he just kept talking to me about it. And one day I rode up with him. And the time I was supposed to go, like, I broke my ankle. And so I was like months behind everybody else. And so they get called up and I'm like, ah. But I went, and then I went there and just found a second home, a place where before I was going to NWA Wildside, everywhere I went, I was the high flyer. I was the main, like, high flyer or whatever like that, other than, the Hardy Boys. There was that frame when once they got pulled up, me and Shannon and Shane, we were like the big high flyers, but I went to NWA Wildside and everybody there was a high flyer, and so I had to find out what made me different than AJ Styles, what made me different than R-Truth, what made me different than JC Daz, what made me different than Jimmy Rave. And it was my mouth. And I didn't find that out until NWA Wildside.
That's some big company right there.
Yeah.
I read that you were trained by the Hardy Boys, and you're legendary. This is awesome.
Thanks, man.
Go ahead, Shane.
I think should have had Caprice as part of 3 Count.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Man, if I didn't break my ankle, I don't know.
More Than a Conqueror.
Oh, man. We are more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus, man. And I think it's me realizing a lot, like I said, with Colemanism, is that I'm not in this fight by myself. There are things in this world that we try to fight and we lose because we try to fight on our own power and our own strength. But through Christ, we're more than a conqueror. And it's him that gives us strength in these things, and realizing that, more than a conqueror means I'm not out here as a warrior. I'm out here walking through something I've already won. I'm more than just a warrior on a field. I have authority in this atmosphere, and that's more than a conqueror.
Good intro music too.
Definitely.
Was that y'all relating to the song? I mean, was that
no? It was actually both.
So when he said it, my mind went to I was trying to find your intro music because I wanted to tag it on one of the TikToks that we were going. I was like, oh man, so good.
Yeah, I helped write. I actually wrote the chorus to that song, and I'm performing on it with Omega Sparks, who is huge in the wrestling industry now with music and the video games that he's doing now. And I'm not gonna say I gave him a start or whatever, but like just to be a part of him at the beginning where people were trying to figure out who he was, and I ran into him. I was like, yo, we got to lay something down. And he was one that was like, hey, let's do it. And like, he stayed on it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't one of those, okay, one day I'll see you later. He was like, hey, when we going to do this? And I was like, let's do it now. And he set it up. And I had the lyrics that I wanted to do, man. And he called me that night and rapped to me that night what will go along with the chorus. And like, that's more than a conqueror. So we put it down and we got it on all platforms, and we made a video about it, and it did pretty good.
Tracy Myers.
Oh man, probably one of the smartest guys, businessmen I know. It's crazy to see somebody like him and know that he's a wrestling fan, because sometimes you look at people and you would never look at Tracy Myers and think wrestling fan. You would think, Fortune 500, type thing. But he's so down to earth. He's such a down to earth person and a real person. He's going to tell you what's on his mind. He's not going to bite his tongue. He's straight up. I admire him. I admire AML, the stuff they've done with me, the patience they have with me. Because, sometimes I'm able to be with them all the time, and then things happen and I can't be with them like I want to, but the love stays the same, And so he's been able to have an idea for a product and has stayed with it. And I believe to this day has the most consistent North Carolina promotion around today. They do shows every month, and they do sub shows. But between those shows, they have a future stars. Like they are the biggest promotion in North Carolina. And for me to be a part of that is huge. For me to have been their champion is even bigger, you know. So tremendous guy.
That leads me to the next one, AML Wrestling, and as a company.
Yeah, AML, like I said, it's the premier North Carolina promotion, and it could probably combat with, I would say, like the East Coast promotions as well, because everybody comes there. Everybody wants to be there. You know, I think we have the best looking title in the sport, period. You know, in any other title that is comparative to it is copied from it. I said it, you know, and that title goes back to the old Mid-Atlantic title that back in the day, like Magnum TA held and all, but we revamped it, you know, and everything after that is a copy from that, you know. But the locker room is a locker room that loves wrestling. And George South, C.W. Anderson, the Dawsons, you know, these guys are guys that eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling, and you can't get any bigger than that.
Yeah, that speaking of that AML title, man, have you ever seen the AML championship belt?
Not in person. I've seen pictures. I've never seen it in person.
It's massive. It's beautiful. It's unique, and and I was heartbroken. I remember when they had their belt taken. It was
somebody stole it
at WrestleCade, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'll never forget
shouldn't have
that.
took it off me.
It never would have happened if Caprice had it.
Never happened. It was everywhere I went, man. I had my eyes on that thing. While I was, man, Victoria is what I named her.
Man, that thing is stuck. What is that thing? What does that thing weigh, Caprice?
At least 10 pounds, maybe 15.
It was massive.
So that's how his traps got so big.
Yes, that's it.
Lugging that thing around all the time.
And I told Tracy Myers, I'll tell this to you too, Caprice. I said, when I think of the AML World Heavyweight Championship, I think of Caprice Coleman.
Oh, yeah.
That's synonymous with you. I told Tracy that, and he agreed with me fully. So, so the word faith. That's the
faith. You said faith?
Faith, yes, sir.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's basically believing in what you don't see, and you're believing in who you don't see, but you know is real. You know, and that's believing God for things that He promised us. And if you think about your parents, man, your parents want to give you everything that they want you to have. You know, and the only thing that keeps your parents from giving you what they can give you is their resources. But if God is your resource, He's the creator of this world, you know, what can He not give you? You know, so having faith in somebody that can give you literally everything, it's just up to you what you get, what you're called for, what you're meant to do, what your empowerment is, what your strengths are, you know, and having faith in somebody that literally has their life in your hands, to me is a no-brainer, you know, but that faith to me also is a strength, knowing that it's nothing I did to deserve what I have. It's nothing I did to earn it or perfect it. You know, it's grace and mercy that He allows me to have. And so when I think I've gotten more faith when I realized that it wasn't my perfection that generated His love towards me. And so when I realized that it was real love, no matter what I do, but I want to do right, it gave me more faith to believe in what we don't see.
The term
I may be too deep for y'all, man.
No, man.
Okay.
This,
all right.
This is what we want.
Yeah.
All right.
The term ice.
Oh man, that was my first stage name. You want to know where it came from?
That's exactly what I want to know.
It came from a mix between like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat or whatever, but also the West Side Story. The West Side Story was a movie like in the, I don't even know what genre it came out. It's old, I want to say 60s. It might have been before that, but there were two gangs or whatever, and it's a musical. And one of the gang members' name was Ice, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever, man. Like his name was Ice, and so I built stuff around it. And I heard that in high school in chorus, and it just stuck with me. And then everything that had to do with ice stood out to me, you know. And then so the Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero and all of that, and then being the coldest brother alive, and just, you know, I just kind of built onto it, to the notorious ICE, kind of going, you know, with the culture or whatever. And so yeah, Ice is the character that I first came up with. Is just, you know, the coldest brother alive. So it's my superhero side, I guess.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
What you have on your shirt? Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, yeah. Man, I believe Ring of Honor is the best wrestling on this planet. And I say that because I believe Ring of Honor is the sport of professional wrestling. Wrestling is wrestling, and wrestling is entertainment. But I believe Ring of Honor harnesses the sport aspect of professional wrestling, the athletes, the styles that clash, and the different, you know, you have the technician, the high flyer, the brawler, the MMA, the joint locker, the you know, these the luchador, you know, all these, you know, the catch cans, you know, they come to Ring of Honor to show they are the best wrestler in the world, on this planet, and they go and they put on a show, and they might not be the best talkers and the best characters and all that stuff. That's not what they're there for. They're there for the sport of professional wrestling. And I believe that's what gives me the ability to call it so easily, because I'm not calling out a video game. I'm calling out an art form. And I believe it's the greatest display of the art form we have of professional wrestling.
Cedric Alexander.
Oh man, it's my brother. CNC Wrestle Factory. He was a tag team partner we knew we would end up being, because when I got back in country, I heard about this young guy that was on fire in North Carolina, and I was overseas in Kuwait for 3 years doing military contract type work. I wasn't in the military; I was working for the military, and from 2006 to 2009. And so I came back to the States in 2009, and I'm calling all the promoters I'm used to working for, and it's like, well, what is your fee? And I give them my fee. Like, oh, we get Cedric Alexander for half of that. I was like, well, book Cedric Alexander then, shoot. You know, and you know, and then I started hearing that enough, and then like one day I was on the car with this dude, and my brother and I, Sweet Dreams, I called my brother. We was on the same car with him, and he was the first match. I was like, let me see what this dude is. Everybody talking about Cedric Alexander. And I mean, 30 seconds in, like, I was hooked on him. He had it. He had it, the way he moved, the way his finesse in the move, his strikes, his looks, his facial expressions, his movements. I was like, he's got it. And so we exchanged numbers then, and we stayed in contact, and we would go to different wrestling seminars, and he'd be there. And I'd be like, okay, now when I come to this seminar, you need to go to the other side of the room, because they see two black wrestlers, they're going to try to make a tag team. And so we would avoid each other because we knew it was inevitable, you know. And so we just kind of would go on opposite side. It was a joke about it. And then Ring of Honor called me when they found out I was back in country, and they said, hey, you know, are you able to do full time now? Because I got back in country, I was probably 30, 35 or something like that, 30, 34, 35. And I was like, yeah. And they said, we got this great idea for you. We want you to mentor this young guy, this young up and coming athlete or whatever. And I think you'd be a good mentor-mentee tag team. And I was like, who's the guy? Cedric Alexander. And I was like, all right, cool. And so we had never tagged before, never tagged. And so we called each other and just laughed. Like when I called, I guess he had got the phone call before I did. And whenever we answered the phone, it was just laugh, because we just knew it was going to happen. And but when we got there, we was wrestling twice and had never tagged before. We wrestled Future Shock and we wrestled the Bravado Brothers. And the chemistry that we had was undeniable. Like we just went in and like we had ideas of stuff we wanted to do and moves we wanted to do, and if this situation happened and all that stuff. But it's a difference between saying what you want to do and then actually going out there and it looking the way you want it to look. And man, once it happened, we knew it was something special. And it kind of became a real close friendship there, to where I was kind of like I became his real mentor, kind of like a big brother type thing, and watched him grow into a family man. And the stuff he's doing now, I'm so proud of him. And so, yeah, that's Cedric Alexander.
And the last one is the term ageless.
Oh man, ageless, like I said, is a state of mind. It's you taking care of yourself to the best of your ability. I feel I'm gifted to be in this sport that is so taxing on the body and on the mind and on the spirit, and still have all three of those intact. I believe it's a gift, and I say I've made a deal with Father Time, and so he's extended my time on earth. And the deal is salvation. It's not hard to, but like, I feel like Father Time has said, with long life, I will satisfy you. And that's the way I feel, that we've all been given a good amount of life here on earth. It's on us how we live it. And I intend to live it the healthiest way that I can, and be an example of that to people, that you can live healthy and clean and have a great life. And if you invest in your body will in turn invest in you. And you can spend time investing in your body, or you could spend time later in your latter years repairing your body. And so I choose to do to take care of myself. And that's what I've been able to do. It's a blessing to be able to walk in that. But like, to see it now, I can't go without mentioning it. And so that's the ageless one.
Absolutely amazing. Caprice, that's it for my segment, brother.
Yeah, and that's the Shane event.
Supposed to be my icebreaker.
Yeah, just a way to kind of break the ice, get to know you a little bit better before we get into the nitty gritty.
Oh, we hadn't got into it yet.
Man, I'll tell you, the coolest thing about us, Caprice, is, man, we don't script nothing. We don't want anything scripted.
Yeah.
We want everything to be as
we want it to be a conversation.
He said his food's getting
All right.
cold.
Yeah, his food's getting cold.
It's a salad, man. It's all good.
I was gonna say, so you're talking about eating clean, living right. So what's the diet look like here?
Food is fuel.
All right.
I try to eat clean. I think I'm an 80-20 person.
Yeah.
And 80-20 is like, I eat 80% really good and 20% not so great, but I don't let that 20%, like, it's not a big deal to me. You know what I'm saying? If I have something, I have it, but I don't like, oh God, I had a milkshake. Oh God, I had a burger. Or, oh God, it's just my next meal is going to be good, and I pick it up from there. So I allow myself 20-25% of junk food, and I eat 75% of the time good food.
I'm like that,
and,
but I'm like 20-80 though. So
yeah, really, the backwards. But like, I know it catches up with you, man, and that's what I've learned. And then after a while, it becomes habitual to the point to where if you go off tier, your body will tell you that you and so that's kind of where I'm at now, to where I try different stuff too, man. Like even right now, I'm not drinking milk. I'm not consuming milk, and I love milk. I like every day I would have a peanut butter and jelly with milk, like just to have it. And
whole milk.
I cut out whole milk, milk period. I do almond milk. And not saying everybody should do it. I'm doing it for me, just to see what it does for my body, because like Dr. Sabi and different people like that have been talking about, the effects that milk has on the body and the mucus and all that. And so I'm just going to try it out. And when I try something out, I try it out for 3 months to see what effect it has on me. And I govern it from there. I was a vegetarian for 3 months. I call it a vegetarian. I was testing vegetarian stuff out to see how that worked. And it worked good. It's not for me, but I did learn that I don't need extra meat on anything. I was one of those guys that was like, oh, extra protein, extra chicken, extra this. But you can eat food and still get the same benefits out of it. So I'm no longer one of those guys.
So what have you found to be most successful? What's your niche? As
far as diet?
Yes.
Eating clean, man. I look at my food and I ask myself, what is this going to do for me? Is this just a taste thing, or is this actually going to be fuel for my body? or is this actually going to do something for my body? And if I can't tell myself what it's going to do, I have to classify it as junk food. You know what I mean? And there's another thing that I can't stand being full. And I believe your stomach and your mind are like, your stomach and your brain are like 15 minutes behind each other. And a lot of times what happens is we're full way before we know it. And so we end up being really full.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I eat until I feel I'm okay, because I know if I keep eating, I'm going to be full, or I'm going to be over full. And being full is something I feel lethargic. I can't move around. I'm sluggish. I don't want to do anything. And so at all costs, I avoid being full. And so maybe that attests to me not eating a lot, but I eat multiple times in a day. I don't like being full.
Yes.
So, and so that's so watching what I eat and not overindulging, I guess.
My wife went on a weight loss journey. I guess, come November, I guess it'll be 2 years now. But she's lost over 150 pounds. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
So she's done great, and it's something that through her journey I've learned some things that I need to definitely get better on. And talking to friends of mine, associates, and everything who are big into fitness and health and nutrition. It's something that you've already said. Food is fuel. If you can change your mind to that, hey, this food it's fuel for my body. It's not something to necessarily indulge in. That'll help a ton.
Well, look at that. He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
We have it wrong. I believe United States has food labeled wrong. And the reason why I say that is because we are, I'm not going to say the only country, but we are one of the main countries that food is a pleasure for us. It's a necessity. Other places and they eat food for certain reasons, but we have food for pleasure. We have food to celebrate. We have food to when we're down. We have food when we're happy. We have food when we're sad. Like, you know what I'm saying? And food is a pleasure thing to us, to where we can get what tastes good. And our mind and our taste buds are set that I'm only going to eat what tastes good to me. And everything that tastes good for you is not necessarily good for you. And so getting out of that mindset changes a lot of things.
Good.
So moving on over to the world of professional wrestling. So you started you said 96, 97.
97, yeah.
Training under the Hardy Boys. So walk us through that. How did that relationship come to pass? How did you meet? I mean, obviously North Carolina, somewhere in that area, but
yeah, I was a huge wrestling fan, and I was somewhere out, and I saw somebody putting up a wrestling poster where they was going to have a local wrestling event. And I never knew of such a thing. I think I went to one when I was a kid with my dad, but like I thought it was a far in between type thing. And so this guy's like, yeah, we're having a wrestling event. And it got pro wrestlers or whatever. And I was like, really, who's going to be here? And it was like, so-and-so. I was like, I never heard of these guys, you know what I'm saying? But like, they look like wrestlers, And so I was like, well, can I be a wrestler? And the guy was like, sure. And at this time, I probably weighed 125 pounds. Cause when I graduated high school, I wrestled my senior year, I wrestled 119. So I probably weighed 125, 130 pounds at the time. And he was like, yeah, sure. He gave me the address or whatever. And I told him, I said, I wrestled all the way through high school or whatever. So I may not look the part, but I can wrestle. And so I pulled up, and that was Matt and Jeff and Shane, not Shane, Venom, Shannon Moore, Champagne, and it's like some other, like the main Omega guys were there. Jason Art, Tracy, which is Trevor Lee's dad. Trevor Lee was there, but he was a baby. He barely walking. And we were outside in the ring training for professional wrestling. And I went up there and told them who I was and what I wanted to do. And They gave it to me the first few weeks. I think Champagne told me recently, he was like, we didn't want you to come back. We wanted to see if you really wanted it. And that's just the way wrestling is, period. It's like they put you through hell to see if you're going to come back. And they was like, this kid's not going anywhere. Let's train him, and so I guess that's what happened. And Matt was more always was kind of like the head honcho type person. And he knew it. Jeff was more laid back, just kind of go with the flow, but he had great ideas all the time. He was one that, he might not think of it, but he could make whatever you thought of way better than whatever you thought of at first. That's the type person he is. His creative mindset, genius is unmatchable. Unmatchable, always has been. And Matt's the same too. Matt's one of the most creative people I know. And then we just went around we had our own shows, Omega. At first it was East Coast Wrestling Alliance. And then when I got there, it was New Frontier Wrestling Alliance. And then I was there one day. Matt came to practice, said I had this dream that we're going to change everything to Omega, Organization of Modern Extreme Grappling Arts. And it went from there. And Omega became huge. But then like Omega got big and they got called up to WWE. And so everybody kind of went their own ways.
So what is it like in 2022 to still actively be involved in professional wrestling, but still seeing Matt and Jeff Hardy, just still working with them?
I'll be with Matt tomorrow. It's crazy because when we see each other, it's just like we're related. He's like my big brother. And I'm sure he probably sees me as his brother, and I'm always like big brother, but he's my, but like, it's just, I wouldn't be in this sport without him. You know what I mean? And he invested a lot in me. Never changed who he was. Like some people, they get fame and they cut people off, or they don't have time for people or whatever. Like he never was one of those type of people ever. Him and my son share the same birthday, and every year they call each other and talk, but throughout the years, he's found his ways to kind of check on me and see how I was doing or whatever like that. So working with him now is really cool, man. It's like we're all in this thing somehow, some way type thing, and we're all doing good. And so that's a blessing.
Now, is that the same son that I see on social media where you're doing commentary and other stuff with?
Yeah. 17 now. He just started college 2 weeks ago. He love it. Business administration, and he's a gift. Period. Like everything he touches turns to gold.
Is there any aspirations to follow in Dad's footsteps?
At first, I thought he was going to wrestle. He had like he wanted to, and he's trained to wrestle. He can wrestle, but he's a musician, and so I didn't want to push my dream off on him.
Sure.
If he followed it, that was great, and he was following it for a while, and then he really fell in love with music, and so I let it go, and then we had a conversation not too long ago about other aspects of wrestling, and I didn't know he always wanted to do commentary. He always wanted to be a manager in wrestling. He was never really big on the ring aspect. And mostly because of me. I'm 45 years old, and he sees me around the house, and he knows my real groans, aches and pains, that the people that know the ageless one don't see, the ageless one don't see. But like he knows, and he's like, man, he said, I don't want to be like that. I'm 45. So he's smart. He's smarter than I am, man. And so he's really good at commentary. He's good at music. He's an actor. He's a musician and dancer, all of it. So he's good, man.
That is awesome. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you were talking about being a wrestling fan when you got into it. So like, whether it be your character or your wrestling style, like what were some of your influences or just your idols in the business, like before you got into it?
Oh man, absolutely. I don't know, for some reason, I was big on Dusty Rhodes, big on Ric Flair, Sting. Rocky King was huge to me because he looked like me. You know, I always thought he kind of looked like somebody related to me. And so I was a huge Rocky King fan. Who else? And then I guess the Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warriors, the Macho Mans, the Junkyard Dogs. Oh man, Too Cold Scorpio, Brian Pillman, Jushin Liger, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and The Rock. The Rock, more like personality wise, but like I was really big on the wrestlers, like the Chris Benoit's, the Dean Malenkos, the Norman Smileys, the guys that could wrestle. As have always been the ones that like really stuck out to me. I enjoy the characters. That's why I fell in love with Eddie Guerrero, because he was all of it. Like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho, like they could do it all, you know, and that's what made me love those guys. But I was always, you know, engulfed in the guys that can like really get down in nitty gritty and just really like had the moves that were tangling people up, man, wrapping people up, and couldn't do anything, because that was me in school, man. I was always caught wrestling somebody, but like I was always small too. But I could hook a small package on you or anything, man. I'd trap you, man. And then that's just always been something I've been able to do, man. I didn't care how big or small you was, but like I would love to wrestle the big guys, because they would look at me and be like, "Oh man, whatever." We'd be out there wrestling in the yard or wrestling on the mats in school or wherever like that, man. I'd be holding my own, you know, and because I really believed in like the catch can type wrestling and the stuff that the smaller guys did, man. And I would use it. Short arm scissor lock was one of my finishing moves. You know, I would put it on you, man. That guy's tapping out to a short arm scissor lock.
Caprice, like, man, this is bringing back some memories now.
Yeah.
So talk about Ring of Honor. So being such a focal point of Ring of Honor, and then returning to Ring of Honor, and now being a part of Ring of Honor with the post Tony Khan acquisition. So being a part of different eras of Ring of Honor, so to speak. So walk us through that. What's it like? How's it different? How's it evolved?
Right. I think it's different because when I first got the phone call for Ring of Honor, I got the phone call right after Sinclair bought them. I had worked with Ring of Honor before, in like maybe 2006 or 2004, like before I went overseas. I had worked with them, and I just thought they were like one of the biggest indie promotions ever. Yeah. And then when I got back in country, there was definitely like one of the indie companies you wanted to be a part of, because they were like the biggest indie. You know, everybody that was anybody worked at Ring of Honor. And so I wanted to be there. And then when I got the call in 2010, I got back in country in 2009. I probably got called from Ring of Honor in 2010. And they told me that they were getting ready to be bought out by Sinclair Broadcast Network. And that's when they asked me, they said, you know, we know you're back in country. We see you still wrestling. Do you think you would be able to hold a full-time schedule down? And I was like, absolutely. And that's when they told me about that deal. And then once the deal went down, they called me and Cedric, you know, and so they never lied to me. And so they were the company that they had contracts. You know, they went from being an indie company to a company on TV that they were handing out contracts, taking people off their jobs to wrestle, you know, and I just thought it was phenomenal. And being able to see that, you know, nobody was rich, but we were making a living wrestling, you know, and traveling the world and getting paid to do it, you know. It is a literal dream come true. And then as the years went on, it got higher and higher and higher and higher and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger names and bigger paychecks and bigger venues and bigger crowds, you know, and it's just all climaxed, you know. And then when the pandemic happened, man, that you just kind of didn't know what was going on, because we went from being gone every other week to nothing, you know. And I was on that plane to Las Vegas when we got the call that all shows were canceled, and I was trapped on the turnpike. There's nothing I could do, so I had to fly to Vegas. And those that were there, we made the best of what we had, or whatever. But like, it was the first time I ever went to Las Vegas or any airport, and it was empty when I got there. You know, and it was like, if you've ever been to Las Vegas and you get off at the airport, it's like so many people that are just wrapped around. And I went there, and it was like we were the only plane there, and we were the only ones walking around. It was scary, you know what I'm saying? And so after that, man, it's like we didn't know what was going to happen with Ring of Honor, but then they called us and told us that they were going to keep us on through the pandemic, that we didn't have anything to worry about. They weren't going to have shows, but we would keep up the social media aspect and do PR type stuff, and we would be okay. And they kept their end of the bargain all the way through the pandemic. They paid us, you know. And so that's another thing that made me loyal to them, is during the time where WWE was firing people, the lowest promotion was paying people and taking care of people and hiring people that they were going to hire just to make sure they didn't become homeless. Because there's a part in pro wrestling where you get to a place to where the only way you're going to make it is you have to like be free, you know. So there's people that are making a living wrestling, but they're not making a big living. They're surviving, but they're working in big companies, you know what I mean? And so they're waiting for that one company to pick them up. And so when the pandemic happened, a lot of pro wrestlers went homeless, because it's a lot of entertainers went homeless because it shut down. It literally shut down the entertainment world. Movies were shut down. Sports were shut down. Theaters were shut down. Entertainment venues were shut down. And that was huge for entertainers. But for our company to say, hey, we're going to take care of you through this, they kept their end of the bargain. And then it was just hard to recover. It was hard for a lot of companies to recover from the pandemic. And they were just one of them. That is, you know, the pandemic, it never was, okay, it'd be finished in 6 months, and it's finished in 6 months. You know, it would always linger on and became 2 years, you know, so 6 months turns into 2 years, you know. So I didn't have a bad taste in my mouth about that. They called us and told us in October. So it gave us plenty of time to kind of get ready, you know what I mean, for what was going to happen. And then so they're going to open back up in April. And we believed it. I believed it. And just waited for April to happen. And then we got a call, turned on TV in March, the last week of March, and Tony Khan has bought Ring of Honor. I was like, oh, shoot, like what happens next? You know, and we didn't know for a while. The phones went silent for a while, and then they started ringing again. And I don't know what Tony Khan's going to do with Ring of Honor, but I know his heart. He has a heart to do right by it. When he talks about it, when he talks to me about it, his eyes are bright, like he's excited about it. He has a vision for it. And I think he's just waiting for the right move to execute, for us to be our own entity. And I trust him with it. I trust his mindset. And the reason why is because he's a guy that he's a freaking billionaire that doesn't have to do anything, but is hands-on in this. He's never missed a day that I've been there. And he's not only there, but he's involved. Like he's working. Like he's working at the Gorilla. He's working. He's in people's faces, like talking and working things out. And like he's hands-on. Like there were people that dream to have money like him, so they don't have to do anything. But he's somebody that has money and is working harder than a lot of people that are there. And that's just the type of person he is. So, and say if you want something done, give it to somebody busy. And so that's the way I feel about Ring of Honor now. I feel like there are a lot of friends that I'm waiting for them to get jobs, you know, and anytime I see one of my friends get work anywhere, I'm happy for them, you know, but we want to see what's going to happen with this as well. And we're excited about it.
So that whole acquisition with Tony Khan, it was pretty in the dark. Yeah. By the sounds of it.
I mean, we didn't know fully about it. And until it really happened, you know, definitely. Like we didn't know. We had suspicions, Like there were phone calls, like suspicions of Ring of Honor is going to get bought out and or whatever like that when it went down or whatever. We were like, oh, it's not for sale. Like someone buy it out. You talking about we opening back up in April? What you talking about? And so it was kind of like you hear things on the internet and you're just like whatever, you know. And I would even get phone because I'm like, oh, so and so is going to buy. Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, and it was like whatever, you know, because it's all internet stuff. You know, people coming up with ideas, and then whoever's idea sounds the loudest is what people think is true, but it's just an idea, you know. But then it ended up happening. So I don't know how long, you know, it was in the mix or whatever like that. But when it happened, I was surprised. I don't know about everybody. I know I was, you know, and so yeah, my phone started ringing off the hook. Congratulations! I was like, for what? It was,
so everything I read on the internet isn't true.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Imagine that.
Even now, man, people just think we call them smart marks. They have ideas where they think they can predict things, but they're predicting things that aren't even predicted yet. Like,
yeah. So with the last show under Sinclair to the first show under Tony, production, I enjoyed both shows. Production wise, I love the way they looked and stuff. Did you see a big difference as far as direction, how thought process, how they wanted the show to go?
No, I think Tony's vision is he really wants to hold on to Ring of Honor as much as possible, and he made it clear that he doesn't want it to be an NXT to AEW type thing. He wants it to be his own entity, and he wants it to hold on to itself as much as possible. And so that's one thing he tried not to do. Like he backed away a lot just to see what we have. And then he had his ideas, and he had his guys that were basically like part of Ring of Honor to start with, and then like your Daniel Bryans, your Christopher Daniels, and all that he has ideas for, and the Claudio Castanovas, and that Castagnoli, but like that he knows is the Ring of Honor that he remembers. And I think he just wants Ring of Honor to be the Ring of Honor, not that just that he remembers, but like a strong to where when people see Ring of Honor, they're like, oh, he's from Ring of Honor. Oh, he's from Ring of Honor. Oh, he's from Ring of Honor. You know, and so I think he's kind of on that aspect of it. And so that brings like I said, the Daniel Bryans and the CM Punks and the Claudios and all those guys up. But there's still, the Dalton Castles and the Rooshes and all those guys as well. So I like it's a big mix. I think his idea was to let it be as organic as it can be with what it already is. And his thing is, what can I add to it? And the thing I think he's adding to it is investment. I think Ring of Honor has always been one of the greatest wrestling promotions ever. We just didn't have the money, to back it up. And even with Sinclair was a big push for us. But even with Sinclair, we were under an umbrella. You know what I mean? But now there's the umbrella that we're under is the umbrella that owns us. And it's not like, a leaf off an umbrella or whatever. So he's totally invested, man. And so I'm excited about it.
All right. I think that.
And I'm grateful to be a part of it, to be thought of. Like, I've been a part of Ring of Honor for 11 years. And when I think of Ring of Honor, my name is not a name that pops up, you know what I'm saying, automatically, but to be thought of into a sense that I'm literally representing this company as the voice of Ring of Honor, Riccaboni and I, that's huge to me. That's tremendous to me to have that honor to where when people think of Ring of Honor, they hear Riccaboni and I's voice. And
it's synonymous.
And it's but like it's breathtaking to me. It's surreal to me because I hear conversations about Riccaboni and I being the greatest broadcast team in pro wrestling, but I'm like, man, that's JR and Jerry the King Lawler. That's that's
Bobby the Brain Heenan and Tony Schiavone.
Bobby the Brain, yeah. That's it's those. those names that they're running beside us, the Gorilla Monsoons and Bobby Heenan's, like, are you kidding me right now? You know what I'm saying? To be thrown in that aspect is such an honor. And I don't look over it like, oh, whatever, we're better than those guys. It's just to be named with those guys. If you would have told me that 5 years ago, I don't know if I would have believed it or not, because I was wrestling, but to be doing commentary and to be looked at as one of the top in the industry, that's a blessing. That's nothing but a blessing.
Well, I can tell you, I've heard you call easily the match of the year twice, which was FTR versus the Briscoes 1 and 2. And I'm telling you, from my point of view, to like Shane alluded to already, it's synonymous Ring of Honor. And Mr. Coleman, you by far deserve to be right up there with the Jerry the King Lawlers, the Jim Rosses, Tony Schiavone's, Bobby the Brain Heenan's, and
man, and too, like, a called match. That call has to be, man, it's got to make you feel it, right? You got to feel it,
goosebumps,
and you do it, man. You do it well. You're definitely my favorite play caller for sure.
Oh man, thank you. It's an honor, man. I love the sport. I'm still a fan of it, and to be as active athletically as I am in it, to still be able to call it, to be able to be on both sides of it, it allows me to have a window that many others don't have, because I'm still involved in it, so I can tell what's going on inside that ring. I know what the moves are. I know what the experiences are. And 9 times out of 10, I've probably been in the ring or with the person or the person that trained them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it's being able to tell the story about professional wrestling. And I've owned I guess, knowing that we are the conscience of professional wrestling. We are the conscience of what you're watching. And so as the conscience, why would I feed you something that you shouldn't hear? And I say that because when I used to watch wrestling, I used to go back and watch my matches, and I would hear commentators talking about things that had nothing to do with the match that was going on, and it used to irritate me. And I never thought about being a commentator, but I was like, man, if I was ever there, I would talk about the people inside the ring, and talk about the story of wrestling that's going on there. And that's just kind of that was my Achilles, I guess, my thing that aggravated me most. But then when I had a chance to do it, I was like, I'm going to make sure I do it like this. And I had a chance to do it. And I believe the respect I've gained from the locker room by doing it is the respect that I wanted to have for commentators, that, man, you're making my stuff better than what it is, or you're really accentuating, you know what I'm saying, what I'm doing. And I think it's a whole teamwork. People are like, oh, you're a commentator, don't you miss wrestling? It's all the same thing to me, because I'm putting the story together of professional wrestling. I'm telling a story about what's going on, that I'm painting a picture for you. And I don't take that as a light job or a side job or a down job or a degrade or any of that. It's an honor, a tremendous honor.
I think Caprice Coleman is the Tony Romo of professional wrestling. So like Tony,
he's better than that.
No. Come on,
Peyton Manning or Tom Brady.
No,
yeah.
Tony Romo was a leader on the field, and he went to be the best play-by-play caller in the National Football League. That is Caprice Coleman.
I thought you were just trying to say that because you're a Dallas Cowboy fan.
No, God dang it, I am a Cowboys fan.
But I'll say,
bless your heart.
Hey, I'm from New York originally, okay? And when I moved down south, I know what that means.
You from New York and you're a Cowboys fan?
Well, wait a minute. You're from New York. Who are you a fan of?
I'm a Panthers fan.
Oh.
Because I live in Charlotte now.
Well, I don't live in Dallas. So.
What were you saying, John?
Well, I was going to say, so, these guys know. So I have been a lifelong wrestling fan, but I really didn't follow the indies too much. It was really just kind of strictly, WCW, WWE,
You're welcome.
a little bit.
You're welcome.
Shane did kind of bring me on it, but I heard you say that, like, when for you, when you think of Ring of Honor, your name doesn't come up. I'll just say, when I think of Ring of Honor, I definitely think Caprice Coleman.
Yeah, for sure.
My son, so he's, last 2 years probably has kind of gotten big into wrestling, and he kind of marked out a little bit when I told him I was going to be part of the interview for you. So, yeah, I definitely agree with these guys when you're just when it comes to your commentary. I would definitely have your name up on that list.
Well,
I was actually going to ask one question though. You kind of alluded to it though. So for somebody who's had such an illustrious professional wrestling career, so you're definitely happy where you're at and where you're going on the commentary side.
Yeah, I look forward to a career in commentary. I know logistically speaking, I can't wrestle for the rest of my life, but I can wrestle for a long time, but I know that my voice, logistically speaking, will outlast my body. And to have a transition in place to where I can walk from the ring to a desk and still tell the story of professional wrestling, it is an honor that I want to walk in. I want to be one of the best commentators in the world. And I'm working with the best now. And so, I feel like working with the best helps me to become better. And I'm always in position to learn. And because I always want to continue to get better. And so I want to be a beacon for pro wrestling as far as commentary, to where it's people that call this sport are calling it like a sport, and they want to be here. I want to be here. When I get to call action, I want to call the action. I want to watch professional wrestling. I want to call professional wrestling. I want to wrestle. I love this sport. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And to get paid enough to make a living to support my family by doing what I dreamt about doing, or what I always admired since I was 3 years old. Bruh, come on. And in my latter years, when my body, logistically speaking, would be failing me, it's still excelling, it's still allowing me to perform. However, I've also been given a window to perform after my body is not able to perform at a level. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
That's God, And so I take all of that stuff, and I look at it, and it's humbling. But I also know the pandemic has shown me it could be taken away too, and so I walk in it with fear and trembling, man, just knowing that I'm representing something when I go in there, and I have a job to do, and so I go out and I do it the best that I can.
Well, Caprice, man, we appreciate your time. We've kept you. We're right at an hour now, so
I will say.
I'm sorry, man. I know I'll be talking, bro.
No,
Caprice,
I hadn't even touched my salad.
So we tend to try and get these to be 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Sometimes we run over, but we definitely want to honor your time and everything. We know you just got off a flight not too long ago, got in the room and stuff. But before I let you go, there's two things I want to. One, can you leave us with a Colemanism?
Okay. Yeah. One that I came up with yesterday or today basically is there are three types of fires. There are candles, there are lanterns, and there are fires. And you have to know the difference between the three. A candle is like a promise that you make to somebody, that you would do something that you can or can't do. It's like it's things that you just agree to, and a lantern would be something that you keep oil in, but it's a slow burn, but it's something that's going to pay off in the future, or something that you need to keep going. And a fire would be something that needs to be attended to right now, because if it's not attended to, it could burn out, or it could burn up, or it could, be great, and the great fires are fires that, are timely fires. You have to manage that fire, and protect that fire and all. And so, knowing the difference between the three and being okay with turning off some candles to tend to the fires. So you're burning fires and not just a bunch of candles. Candles are not bad, because some candles lead to things and some candles help things. And I'm not saying, because I believe that if you're faithful over a few things, you'd be ruled over many. Yeah. But I'm talking about having the mindset that it's okay to say no to new things too. That if you have your plate full, understanding that your plate is full, and intentionally harvesting the fire without lighting new candles. So knowing the difference between lanterns, candles, and fires would be my Colemanism.
And last thing, let the people know where they can catch you, when they can catch you, anything you got coming.
Well, tomorrow night you can catch me on Dynamite.
Yes.
And Friday you probably catch me on Rampage. And I'm on social media. Caprice Coleman on Twitter, Caprice Coleman on Instagram, Caprice Coleman on Facebook. Same thing on what's that thing? TikTok.
Yep.
As well. So I'm Caprice Coleman on all social media platforms, and that's it.
Caprice, you are absolutely, I'll say this, you are absolutely one of the most contagious people I've ever talked to. You're contagious. It's a good thing. Your humility, your personality, your dedication, your passion to professional wrestling has not gone unforeseen. We love everything you're doing, everything you continue to do. I think professional wrestling needs more Caprice Colemans. I think the world needs more Caprice Colemans.
Yeah.
Sure. You're absolutely amazing individual. Thank you so much for taking this time out of your busy schedule to fit us in. We appreciate it so much.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for being patient with me. Get my stuff together before I jump on this call.
hey, we have been extremely blessed with the guests and stuff that we've had on this show and everything, and people like yourself, Tracy Myers, and others. We've been extremely blessed. We're extremely humbled, extremely honored. Ladies and gentlemen, one last time, Ring of Honor commentator, All Elite Wrestling commentator, the ageless one, Caprice Coleman. Caprice, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
All right, love y'all. Good night.
Appreciate you, sir.
All right. Well, before we continue, guys, this segment is brought to you by Day Soul Coffee Lab. Guys, I consider myself a coffee connoisseur. I absolutely love coffee. And I found what I believe is to be the absolute best coffee out there. Day Soul Coffee Lab, oh yeah, out of Birmingham, Alabama, has the freshest tasting coffee you can get. They even have a subscription fee in which you can sign up and monthly receive it directly to your door. So guys, make sure you head on over to the website, www.daysoulcoffeelab.co, and use a promo code LOWDOWN and get 10% off your order. Guys, if you're going to drink coffee, you might as well make it great coffee. So, Shane's over here. We've doing the Tony Khan bottle drinking meme right now.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's addicting.
So,
get it?
Man, what a great time we had with just a minute ago with just now with Caprice Coleman, and class act for sure. But before we were talking to him, we were finishing up Clash at the Castle, talking about how Johnathan mentioned call back to Triple H's and The Rock's rivalry with them possibly having Roman finally lose the title at WrestleMania in Hollywood, California.
That's the next Mania coming up. Is that where they're at?
Hollywood. That's why I think they're inevitable.
Banking on The Rock.
All right. So you come this far.
They went too far.
I don't know. Maybe the Rumble.
The only wrinkle.
The Rumble.
Cody lurking somewhere
with a torn pec.
Well, he's coming back at the Rumble. He's going to be back, I think, before the Rumble. But he's going to be in the Rumble.
But if he wins the Rumble, then he gets a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Cody versus The Rock versus Roman.
Right,
triple threat.
American Nightmare.
Yeah, I tell you.
Versus America's person.
Yeah, I tell you.
The Rock.
Once in a lifetime.
The people's champ.
Like a rock.
I tell you. future president, Rock.
2032.
Anyway, so I don't know. Cody's definite hiccup in that whole plan. So that's what makes me believe maybe Roman won't be champion against The Rock. I've heard enough of Cody Rhodes. I don't know. I think The Rock Roman. If I'm booking from a booker standpoint, Rock Roman, it's inevitable. I think they said it's up to The Rock at this point, but I think The Rock wants it.
It's
I
been
think
up to The Rock forever, but
that match needs to happen without the belt involved. I just think the bloodline. I think the story. I think everything is there. To have a successful program without the need for the belt. Have the belt go somewhere else.
So that's the only way I see The Rock coming back against Roman. And
Here.
it doesn't. I agree. The belt doesn't have to be on the line. The belt doesn't need to be involved in any way. I just don't see how you have Roman lose and then the match still hold up to what it would be.
Have Roman hold his value.
I don't think we get
Unless it's next year. Unless it's the next WrestleMania.
I don't think we get The Rock. I think we get Black Adam. God versus God mode.
Jesus.
Huh?
Oh, taking my headset off.
That's what I think. I could be wrong.
We might have got that a couple months ago. Yeah, when McMahon was still around.
Oh gosh. Are you here? That's because he reminds me. Yeah. Anyways. Hey, God versus God mode.
No, God!
Better than Brie mode.
Well, somebody did Brie mode the other night. Chip Day. Was it Chip Day? Chip Day did.
He does that. He does that once in a while. I love Chip Day.
Yeah, that was awesome. Hearing him call that out during his match.
What are all these fancy buttons you pushing?
Man, it's actually stuff that I'm
There, ladies and gentlemen, if you could see
I'm
what I
going
see,
to,
there is multiple colors here of all the rainbow here, and this little gadget he's pressing.
Yeah, so I added something to Johnathan's vocal just a minute ago to cater more toward his voice.
Make him sound more manly.
I changed something to yours.
What'd you do to me?
Well, you have a strong voice, so I just said a strong voice. He's got a lighter voice, so I said the lighter voice.
Dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Oh, you did sound more manly there.
As far as strength, now tone wise, I got him still at a medium tone, just like me.
Okay, well, that's way above my head. I just thought it was interesting. All these different colors are flashing in my peripherals.
Yeah, man. It's all good. All right, so Clash of the Castle, overall,
A solid B+ pay-per-view.
I was going to put it at A-.
You're over the top, but solid B+.
But would you compare South Carolina to New York?
We have very strict scales up there.
B+. Oh, it's a 95.
No, that's an A.
It's an 85. It's an 84.
B+ is 80, 86 to 89. That's solid.
So now I was going to say A-.
That's a 91, so it's close.
Yeah, thought it was a pretty good show for the most. Didn't really have any.
Could we make it a 92? Since they were just trying to go off SummerSlam 92.
Well, why not?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get to the heart of it,
Owen Hart.
The heart.
SummerSlam 92. Heart
See, I didn't. Okay.
Oh,
I was just saying that because if anybody can see his shirt, it's an Owen Hart
it
shirt.
is an Owen Hart shirt.
So I wasn't putting two and two together. I'm sorry. Okay.
So
Next.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not watch Worlds Collide. I heard it was pretty decent. According to Simon Miller from Ups and Downs.
All I need to know is that Braun Breaker is the future of professional wrestling in the WWE side of things.
He is.
He is the complete package. He looks like Rick and he sounds like Scott.
Exactly.
And he doesn't do Steiner.
And well, actually, he did it in a promo one time.
Yeah, he did do it.
But can somebody, for the love of God, please change his name? They're changing everybody else's names to make him take the cartoony Braun Breaker way and make him Rex Steiner.
I think, yeah, because this is the last name. Yeah.
Well, yeah, close.
And he's like a dinosaur. I have a big head and little arms.
I mean, he's just so good, man. And he's got the great look. Looks like $1 million. Cuts a promo. Can work.
Bro, his spear is...
He is nasty, and they call him something straight out of Killer Instinct. Braun Breaker.
Well, the thing is,
Good game.
That was actually a very good impersonation of you.
when the Steiners got inducted, he came out. So everybody knows. I mean,
It's not a hidden
it's not
secret.
they're not even hiding it.
But dude, Braun Breaker,
I want to introduce my dad and my uncle.
he's awesome. I love him.
6% of the time, he won every time. It's called Sex Panther.
Okay. But yeah, I like that. I like all the unification that's happening. I think that's important. I think less is more. All these multiple titles and everything.
Yeah.
I think this is good. I'm hoping they do the same on the main card.
Yeah. Mandy went over. She's moving her down to NXT has really helped her. It's definitely
Drove her stock up.
It's driven her stock up for sure. She was face at the end of her SmackDown run, and her and Otis was having a thing, which is just weird for me. And everything. Why are you making that face, Shane?
I was just thinking about how horrible. Insert Tony Khan bottle gif. All right.
That's like a baby bird feed.
I'm glad we're not on video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, don't worry. We caught that on video earlier.
Oh, wow.
We might have our own meme.
Wow. Oh.
But no, it definitely it's driven her stock up. Her and Toxic Attraction, thanks to stable or at least the tag team. Man,
They've grown on me too.
And they can draw heat really good. So, and I haven't followed much of it. I do know he had one of the guys from Diamond Mine turned on the Creed brothers. That happened.
Heard the Carmelo Ricochet match.
I heard that was
really good.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and watch it.
And from my understanding from listening to Simon Miller earlier today from Ups and Downs, White Culture, is that White Culture Wrestling? I think it's White Culture Wrestling. He mentioned about how the Ricochet Carmelo Hayes match was definitely one of those things that it felt like they'll be able to continue feud.
Well, anytime the crowd chants "Fight Forever," you're doing something right. And it's the name of an AEW video game, which made it even funnier.
Well, touche. It is a name of AEW video game. And speaking of AEW, we had AEW All Out in Chicago.
Now that was an A-, sir.
I was going to give it a solid A.
That's even better.
I'm not going to give it an A+. Just because I just felt like there were some things that could have had some work done. So
Let's talk about it.
I'll give it a solid B.
Oh, it was
that because my
Calm down there, Tony.
Was that because my sick son fell asleep on you? I'm not going to take this.
Yeah, that's right. Run us through it.
So, 0 Hour. 0 Hour is good. Listen, and I know Eddie Kingston gets flack and gets told he's not a good wrestler and this, that, and the other. I freaking love watching Eddie Kingston in the ring.
Okay, I think he's a horrible worker. I think he's an unbelievable promo, and I think he's believable. I think he's real. I think that's why he's like so many people are attracted to him, just because he's believable. He's roughneck. I mean, straight out of New York.
I love watching him in the ring. Him and Ishii, man. It's the second or third time I've seen them in a match together.
68 chops or something like that.
And it's just, man, it's just one of those things that I can sit there. They talked about, everyone said Gunther Sheamus, and I watched Ishii and Eddie Kingston. And for me, it had that same feel.
That was by design. They're following it.
Yes. And I mean, I don't think it was one of those things that they watched the match and said, hey, this is what we're doing type of thing. But, it is kind of one of those things where, I mean, it was already booked.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know. I like Eddie Kingston. I do. I'm not going to praise his in-ring work, but his believability factor, I think, is very important. And I cheer for him. I mean, I like cheering for Eddie Kingston, but I thought the match was extremely physical, hard hitting, a lot of chops. He's over with that AEW crowd. I mean, you can't deny that. I mean, that's why you book somebody. That's why you put him on the card. If they get a reaction, and he's definitely a fan favorite in AEW. So
also had Kip Sabian versus Pac.
Unbelievable. Oh, that was money.
Kip
looks good. I take the words. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
And that's all I was going to say. And the other night while we were watching it, I actually let Johnathan said the same thing. Just said, hey, he looks good.
Yeah.
We're sitting. Shout out to Billy and Cheryl Fox. They came and hung out the other night, but all of us watched it together. And it was one of those things. We looked at Kip. So Billy wasn't aware who Kip was because he started watching after Kip and Penelope. I kind of faded out for a minute.
And I saw where it was the first match Kip had since like early 2001. It was the first.
No, 21.
I said 2001.
Yeah.
Yes, 21. But it was his first match in front of a live crowd since like early 2020.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that for him to look that good, it being his, kind of shaking out the ring rust. I mean, that was quite a performance. I am interested to see where this
leads.
This leads with him. I mean, he was kind of talking to the box, his box head after the match, like it had done something wrong. So I'm intrigued.
Kind of get a box cutter after it. I can feel it.
Yeah, I thought Kip looked good, man. Took that box off. He looked like he was ready for TV. Like, I don't care how long he's been with, not on a televised match or anything, but like he took that box off. I'm like, he looked great. So I thought the whole match was good too. Pac is one of my favorite, I think, professional wrestlers in the world. I think he's unbelievable.
I really liked him in WWE as Neville. And then they kind of his Pac gimmick now. They to the best of their ability before he left, kind of went there with his Neville gimmick. But yeah, man, he's another guy too. For me, is a heavy hitter. Those kicks are vicious.
Oh, dude, I remember watching a lot of his matches even before he was Neville, when he was Pac on the scene, and he was toned down in WWE, which is scary.
Yeah, because
his work is just ungodly, unbelievable, man. So I love that match.
I love the. Does he call it the Black Arrow? Is that what he calls it?
Mm-hmm.
The flip, twist, and a corkscrew shooting star press is basically what it is. Yeah, I'm a big fan. What was another one on Zero?
Had a Sammy and Ty versus
Oh yeah.
So
the third time it's happened in like 3 episodes.
Did this open the 0 hour?
Yes.
Okay, because I showed up to the theater like 8 minutes late, and this was already done.
Yeah, it opened 0 hour, and it didn't even open with an announcement. It opened with them.
They were cutting a promo in the back, and they're like, you just heard like this horn or something blowing, so they were going looking, and then Sammy got ran over by a golf cart for like the millionth time.
Sammy's always getting run over. I just clicked.
Yeah.
Like
what can we do? Hey, run over me with a golf cart. Oh, that's great.
It looks so good every time.
Man, I'm ready for that to be over.
The Sammy and Ty stuff.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me. And they got the win again. I'm hoping Ruby Soho can get booked better.
I think this was definitely the best out of. I mean, it really has happened. I think it happened on like Rampage back to back, and then the pay-per-view.
Well, In some way, shape, or form, absolutely. I mean, you had Ruby versus Ty. Then they had a mixed match one night, and to where, female had to fight female, male had to fight male. And then last night it was no holds barred. So whoever hit whoever, cool. So, and then the last match on Zero,
Hook match.
Yeah, Hook versus Cool Hand Luke from Jericho Appreciation Society.
I love Daddy Magic.
Matt Bernard.
I've become a weird fan of this dude. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his accent, his attitude,
Sports entertainers.
I think that's what it is. And the fact that his name is Daddy Magic, I just think is fitting. I like Hook a lot, man. Definitely green. You can see it still in a lot of his matches, but I think he's come a long way, and I think he's miles from where he was and miles from where he's going to be. I think he's just, I don't know. He's got this great reaction from the crowd and an organic reaction. I like Hook.
I like Hook too.
The music, bro. Oh, and
Bronson was there,
and he got involved.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool was that?
Yeah, and listen,
God, that guy is huge. I didn't know how big he was.
Well, he's stocky. I mean,
he's big.
His head barely got to the top rope, but
he's got to be 500 pounds.
Nah, man.
He's got to be every bit of.
No way, dude. He is not that big.
Yeah. Did you watch the same show as me?
Yeah, I sure did. He's nowhere near that big.
It's because Shane was watching it in the theater.
Everything
looked a lot bigger.
Yeah, no, I would say he's probably between 295 and 350, but he's probably 5'8".
Yeah, I would say 350.
Action Bronson, right?
Yes.
Says he lost 127 pounds, so he was 400 at one time. He's roughly 250 right now.
I was like, he didn't lose 127 pounds in a week.
And he's 5'9".
5'9" and 500. He looked big on the TV screen, on the movie screen.
I watched it on IMAX.
But yeah, he was. It was curved screen too. So I did,
but he, man, the way he gut wrenched one of those guys and chunked him, I was like, holy crap. Now, was he a wrestler ever? Or did he just like go in there and just like, yeah, I'm going to.
Not Bronson Reed.
No. I'm talking about Action Bronson.
You get it?
Yeah, I got it. Just wasn't funny.
I thought it was funny.
Johnathan's hurt. No, I just didn't know if he was ever a wrestler or not.
I don't think so. I think I read something. Him and Taz go way back, and so that was just kind of. I think Hook just asked him for the song, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, you can use it."
I know. He picked up either Matt Bernard or Cool Hand Luke and threw him. I was like, "Good night, that dude's strong." Matter of fact, it might have been you that said it, or Billy Fox one at the table even said, "My gosh, he was strong." But
threw him like a rag doll.
Yep. But yeah, so that wrapped up 0 hour. Got to the main card.
And what match did they open with?
Casino ladder match.
Genius booking.
Yep.
Start hot. And
I tell you, we all in our own group chat kind of called it. We expected MJF to make a return, but you didn't necessarily. It's one of those things that we all knew, but you didn't necessarily get the outright MJF return. What you had is you had an amazing match, had a sunset power bomb onto a ladder from the ladder, and you had kind of finally figuring out what Stokely Hathaway's been doing without necessarily actually figuring out what he's been doing. There's still some mystery there. For those of you unaware, Stokely Hathaway's been coming out and handing these business cards to all these different people. And, into the match, they come out, aces and eights, call back. That's what I felt like, anyways. Could you say it was kind of Nexus like? I don't remember Nexus ever being. Was Nexus ever masked? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think
One guy
kind
was
of called
good.
back to Retribution, like when they
Okay,
started,
yeah.
First started.
Yep, I got you. Yep, I agree with that sentiment.
Talking about with the Joker's entrance,
Yeah,
I mean, I like how they did it. It was definitely
dude. As soon as that music played, you knew it was MJF. If you remember the promos he cut,
yeah.
I mean, it's storytelling, dude. It's such AEW. They didn't intend it that way. They have such an unbelievable way of long-term storytelling by accident. I don't know, because it's just so incredibly well done. I loved it.
I almost wish. I know they tried to do it in front of the crowd. I almost wish Hathaway would have unmasked and then just walked off with the casino chip first, and then maybe mid-show, show him kind of giving it to the Joker or something. Because I think, no matter how much they teased it, and I mean, you knew by the way he walked, the finger, when he faked his unmask, the Joker faked his unmasking.
The strut too.
You could tell it was MJF. I mean, if that's what they were going for, that was great. But I think they could have played off of it a little bit more throughout the show.
Well, and it's one of those things that, I think, like you mentioned, I wish they would have revealed it differently.
I mean, you could have showed Hathaway in the back, on a phone call, and saying yeah, I got it.
See
when you get
or
here,
Hathaway got all up in Shivani's face, the week of. So why not, when they go to hit the music, Hathaway gets on a microphone and says, "No, we'll unveil the Joker when we want the Joker unveiled," or whatever. Takes the chip, walks to the back with his group or something, and then at the end of the show, Hathaway gives it to the Joker with the mask on.
That mask,
or he walks
didn't
out.
do it for me. It's the mask that didn't do it for me.
I actually like the mask, but I think, like I said, throughout the show, I mean, the Joker came out, and then he faked like he was going to unmask, and then just did the finger wag and walked to the back. So I think, if you had mid-show, Stokely come down, the Joker comes out and do it separate from the match, because I think then at that point, fans would have really thought that he was going to unmask in that moment, and then just be like, we're going to continue waiting. They could have teased it a couple more times throughout the show, but I actually like the mask.
I don't know. That was kind of elementary, really.
Yeah, I just wish. I wish they'd known they were going, or if I'd have known they were going to do something like that, I just wish they would have done it just a little different, just a little more tasteful. It could have been better. But anyway, that was
which we'll get to the unveiling, but that was the part that I didn't really like.
Yeah.
The way they did it.
Next match of the night you had.
It was the Elite.
Yeah.
Dark Order.
Oh, that was Trios matches right there. Yeah, sure was.
This card was hot. If you go back and just look at it.
That was probably going to have my match of the night candidate until later on, which we'll talk about tag team title match. But man, you talking about, again, it goes back to storytelling, right? You've got, and for me, I was like, oh, okay, we're getting Hangman. What's his role going to be? Originally he wasn't helping the Dark Order. Then 10 and Evil Uno both got injured. You had talking about some falsies in the match that legit could have, and it wasn't these falsies that you were just one. This is a 2 count. It was like, oh crap, this Dark Order's about to win this.
Mm-hmm.
Man, great storytelling. And you had,
and the biggest thing is the crowd stayed engaged this entire match,
yeah.
through all the falsies. They just wanted more and more and more, and I think that's important.
I'm a big Johnny Hungy fan. I absolutely love Johnny Hungy. But in the end, you have the Elite win, but not because of their own doing. You had Heyman, Adam Page set them up, and Kenny Omega ducks under the what's he call it? I know it's a lariat, but
buckshot.
The buckshot lariat. Yep, the slingshot.
Buckshot lariat.
Buckshot lariat. Ducks under it, hits Johnny Hungy. Candy kind of shrugs his shoulders and pins Johnny Hungy while the Young Bucks are holding Hangman down. 1, 2, 3.
I do like the ending. I mean, I think it was kind of seemed like they were kind of leading towards like Hangman was going to turn or something. So just kind of having him cost him the match, but kind of keeping him with Dark Order was unexpected, but nice.
But now you have the possibility of Dark Order building off that and turning on Hangman down the road. I mean, there's several different ways they can go with this.
By finishing it the way they did, they left the door open to a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah, so that for a while was going to be for a little while was my match of the night candidate, but after that we had.
Well, first, before we get there, I mean, we'll talk more. We got a lot of AEW talk, but I don't know how I feel about the Elite winning though. EVPs will be EVPs, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the elite vice presidents, right? It's one of those things for me, and I feel like many people felt this way. Nobody saw anyone else other than the Elite winning.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see Dark Order win. I think from my standpoint, I mean, I've kind of really only been following AEW now for about a year and a half, and other than the last few months when Kenny was hurt, I think somebody from
someone from the Elite's always had a belt,
always had a title, and so
yeah. No,
speaking of Omega, can we acknowledge how good this guy looked?
He looked great,
shredded. He looks better than what he did pre-injury.
He looked like he'd been in tanning bed some since Dynamite.
I hope so.
But no, I'm right there with you. I think for a group of guys who constantly talking about they're trying to look out for the talent and stuff. They tend to always have a belt on them, which you can look at one of two ways: either A, they're greedy, or B, they're just the best.
I choose the latter.
Well, but I don't. I feel like there's other talent that could equally have those belts.
I mean, I think they're super talented. Don't get me wrong. I just get like what's best for business.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think the Young Bucks are the best collective tag team in AEW, and they've been together forever, and they're just got it down to a science, man. And I think Kenny Omega is the best professional wrestler in the world. So that's opinion, of course, but
of course, I wouldn't say they're the best tag team. That for me, that's FTR. But at the same time, I also understand you can't put FTR in every tag team match,
right?
You can't. You work with what you have to work with. The Elite is a formidable stable, has been for a while. So it's one of those things that I may not necessarily like it, and may feel like, hey, could have easily allowed Dark Order to win to build them up more. But at the same time, I don't know what they have in store. So, for all we know, it could be leading to something bigger. We don't know. So it's in these moments that, and even with WWE, even when Vince was there, it's like, all right, I'm just going to trust the process and see what happens. Yeah, heck of a match though. What I did not, man, it's just hard for me to watch these matches. It's really difficult. TBS women's championship matches are
the Jade match.
I know what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. I get it. They're building Jade Cargill to be like a Goldberg, right? Making her she's undefeated. heck of a look, and she continues to get better every time we watch them.
Her entrance was amazing.
She almost fell.
Shockmaster.
She almost pulled a Shockmaster.
That was Braun Strowman.
See, I liken that more to Titus O'Neil.
Sorry.
The greatest Royal Rumble. Man, that could have been dangerous. But anyways, she comes out and she's green because she loves the money. Nope, that's not it.
This was actually my first bathroom break. Was this match?
Yeah, man, it's one of those, like, anyone who follows pop culture, like the Lowdown Podcast does, could clearly tell that she was She-Hulk. Okay.
Oh,
not that difficult.
That was China.
Oh. Anyone could tell.
Sorry.
Yeah, everyone knew that was She-Hulk, and it was either Taz or Jim Ross. She's green because she loves money.
Sounds like a JR line.
I believe it was JR.
It's just like, no.
But I will call out something good about that match is Athena.
Oh, I thought she was going to say it got over quick.
It was short and sweet. Athena threw some what looked like potatoes, man. Like she was laying them in. I thought that looked really good.
Yeah, she
I think Athena is one of the best female athletes in general on that show.
Yeah, it's so some things I continue to see primarily with the TBS Championship bouts is some missed marks, so to speak. So, like, and I don't know if it's because ropes get slick because of sweat or whatever. I don't know if it's because of people not being used to working together, or if it's because the TBS champion is still rather green, just like in the match.
She really was green.
She really was green. That stuff I really question, though, because you do see a lot of you see a lot of timing issues. I feel like, is it just me?
Miscues.
Listen, I will say this. Athena opened up and hit that what she used to call Eclipse back in NXT.
Cutter.
Yeah, she hit that, and I was like, oh, good. Oh. She got 1, 2, and
Addies were in a bad spot. During that spot, they almost messed up.
Oh yeah, they almost missed the referee. So in reality, I think we both called it that they were not in their spot to pull the referee out in time. Jade had the wherewithal to go ahead and kick out. But man, and I think there was one match, and it might have been the trios match. The ref was doing their 3 count or doing the count, and they went to go 3, and they kind of missed the 3 on purpose. And after they'd already missed, somebody kicks out, and it's like, oh yeah, one of those things that and was good thing the ref just had to wherewithal. Hey, this ain't the finish. I'm gonna miss this 3 count. But yeah, so I mean that's Jade comes out with the win.
Didn't see it coming.
Her daughter was there.
That was the best moment of the match. Seeing the way her daughter looked at her, the crowd,
and the way she her daughter said, "I'm that big." That was nice. No, I mean, I can appreciate how Jade has taken TBS for the TBS Championship and really created her own slogan with it. She represents that title, and she is a fighting champion. I'll give that to her as well. She'll defend. she continues to get better in the ring. So kudos to her. Congrats to her on retaining. It's 40 wins, 40 something.
I mean, let's be honest. You said they're trying to make her look like Goldberg. Goldberg was not really that great in the ring.
I mean, I agree. He was over. He was super over though, and she is too. She has a good look, and she's over. Even though she's a heel, she's still over. So, I mean, solid point. Solid point. After the TBS Championship match, we had the
FTR Wardlow.
Oh yeah,
Stay Lethal Motor City Machine Gun.
Yep. I was in and out on that match. I think that's when Asher got sick. Maybe not. I don't remember.
I thought it was a very entertaining match. I love Wardlow. I think he's the future of AEW, however long AEW is around for.
6 months, according to some people.
No, at least a year.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
They're dumpster fire.
Well, we'll get into that later, I think. But I think Wardlow is the perfect combination, man. Size, speed, look, promo.
He's decent on the mic too.
He's the complete package. And yeah. So I thought this match was really, really good.
First of all, I popped hard at Sanjay Dutt shirt.
Brat.
Fight hard like an 18-year-old brat. I thought that was just all hilarious. You know,
I mean, it was back-to-back matches where the daughter stole the show.
Yeah,
that was the best part of the match. I mean, not just Sanjay's shirt, but Dax's daughter coming out with the actual shirt on.
The pencil break.
The
pencil break
whole thing after the match with the pencil break.
Big pop on that. The crowd loved it. Everything, and FTR Wardlow comes up with a win. I was happy for the Motor City Machine Guns. With the crowd they got to perform in front of,
looked amazing too.
And I think they'll have a match with FTR 1-on-1.
2-on-2.
One team versus one team.
Oh,
I don't know. I just said that. I would love to see them.
If looks could kill.
Johnathan.
Getting looked at weird. It's like the look of say something else. I dare you.
Yeah, you all. I'd like to see them some way somehow get involved with Ring of Honor. Who knows? Maybe for all we know, maybe that was their tryout. I don't know. But definitely a formidable tag team that people can get behind and everything. And you then fast forward and you had
Starks and Hobbs.
Oh,
which I think is one of the most forgettable, most lazy booked matches.
I thought it was greatly booked. And here's why. I think that. I think the reason I appreciated the booking is because you made Powerhouse look like a powerhouse, which he should be. Ricky Starks can come back out on Dynamite and cut a promo, and everyone will be just fine. As much as I wanted to see Starks win, I didn't think he was.
And Hobbs win, the crowd has no reaction to it. It was just like, I don't know. I just think it was poorly.
I would say they didn't have a reaction to it. I mean, I think
I would. It was quiet.
It's definitely the match that I remember the least.
Yeah, because it was bad. It was badly booked.
The entrance, I remember
lazy booked, not
Stark's
badly booked.
Entrance more than anything else about the match. That and the Spine Buster, about the only two.
I mean, it was
moments.
It was short.
Yeah, it was
5-6 minutes probably, maybe a little longer.
It was a very short match. So at the same time, it's easy to get lost on this card.
That's true.
I would have preferred if they were going to do that match, do it on Dynamite the week after or the week before. Have it as a big Dynamite match, and not even put it on the All Out card.
Well, and
that's just my take.
And the rivalry's not over.
No, it's not.
Keep going, but Starks in trunks or in tights was a little weird.
I was a fan. I was a fan of the Van Halen throwback with his tights.
Yeah. Man, you look like that, dude. You look like $1 million, man. You need to be in trunks, but that's just me. That's just, again, pet peeves.
I don't know how to take that comment.
Well, take it from a person involved in the business, man. Like you have talent that, you know, that they're obviously proud of, you know, the figure they're able to develop, and, you know, you're on TV, on national TV.
So maybe why he got maybe why he went and got a new set of digs.
I think it's because the baby face changed, to be honest with you. I think it's to go along with that, but
Yeah, I mean, it could be. You know, he went jacket and tights and everything. So,
Now, and I also think part of the reason I might not remember, you know, like it was my least memorable match was because it preceded what I think was the match of the night.
yeah, tag team championship match. Not all swerve, no swerve in our glory.
this was
All Swerve, no glory.
All swerve, no soul.
This was my second favorite match of the night.
Swerve in our glory. And you had them who were honestly were faces. But Chicago got behind the Acclaimed, who's been being pushed as faces, and you know what we saw was Swerve in our glory said, "Hey, we'll take the hill. We'll take this hill. He'll
dude, just looking at Swerve in this match, dude, he definitely could get a heel reaction.
I've never liked Swerve as a face.
Yeah, he's definitely hateable.
Isaiah Swerve Scott, Swerve Shane Strickland. To me, he has the look, and the mannerisms and stuff that says, "Oh man, let this guy just be a great heel." Now meeting him in person years ago at PWX, super nice guy. But you know, even in the ring though, he had that heel persona. So for me, seeing him as a heel, it's like, man, yeah, let this guy be there. You know, I hope Keith Lee goes heel. Kind of takes that step. He even mentioned in his press conference it's not something that he's used to, but Bearcat.
How about when
Bobcat?
How about when the crowd chanted, "You can't scissor" at Keith Lee?
Got scissor at the end.
And at that moment, because I was having a discussion with one of the guys I was with in the crowd, and we were like, man, he's always complaining about, like, man, they always go to Chicago for this pay-per-view. And then at that moment when that chant happened, I'm like, that's why they keep going to Chicago, and that's why they'll be there next year.
Yeah.
That crowd was just phenomenal, especially during this match too.
I mean, I think, you know, obviously Billy Gunn was a part of DX, and so he's gotten a lot of reactions, and I think you could tell him outside that he was shocked at, like, you know, the chants. And,
oh yeah,
like how over they were during the match.
Listen,
he looked like he was genuinely like, okay, this is not what I was. You know.
There was something they said. Was it "Scissor Me, Daddy"? Was that it?
the crowd.
Yes,
the crowd was on fire several times in this match. I know. I just remember the "You Can't Scissor" chant at Keith Lee. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh man!
Oh, scissor me,
that
daddy.
one. We were sitting there,
Chicago.
We were sitting there watching it, and Asher starts chanting, "Oh, scissor me, daddy!" I'm like, "No, son, don't say that."
That is the last thing you need him to go to school saying.
He's like, "Oh, scissor me, daddy."
A poor kid, so innocent.
I'm like, "Hey, son, I know they're saying it right now, but don't say that."
Did he say it in front of Billy Fox?
Oh yeah, we were all sitting there on the couch.
Oh,
we were all sitting there on the couch. He started saying it. I'm like, "Yeah, don't say that, son." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Just don't.
Don't ask. Just don't say it.
People get cut tonight. Don't do it."
Well, I mean, me and Trevor's a little older, but this was weeks ago. We were watching Dynamite or Rampage. It had to be Rampage. That's the only place that claims on. Danielle come in there and they were talking about scissor me, and she was like, "Did he just say scissor me?" I was like, "Yep, wrestling."
That's what Trevor said.
No, Danielle walked in.
Oh, I thought Trevor said, "Yep, wrestling." Oh
no, that was me.
Oh, still funny. Still funny that your wife caught it though.
Yeah. Well, Lindsay catches some of it too. She's like, I'm like, yeah,
Don't ask.
he knows better. I talked to him. He knows.
Yeah. You get a phone call from the school.
Oh, well, Mr. Poston, your son is talking about scissor me, Daddy. Yep. I'll have his mom talk to him. But yeah, so that was, yeah.
I think one little missed moment in the match. So in the promo before on Rampage before the match, Swerve talked about rock beating scissors. And I think it would have just something little in the ring, like they could have,
At the end of it?
At the end, had somebody do the scissors and then Swerve just kind of do rock on top. Just
Moments,
to kind
bro.
of build on that a little bit more. But
Yeah,
minor thing.
No, I'm there with you on that. It was, especially right there at the end when Keith Lee was trying to, do the scissor.
I think something that stuck out to me too, it was a nice build, was that Max Caster finally got Keith Lee up for the AA.
Yeah.
Or,
Good callback.
Good
Callback because him and John Cena tend to have a pretty good relationship, at least through social media. John Cena's even talked about how Max Caster is 1,000 times better than him on the mic.
rapping,
yeah,
which is scary because Cena is very good. I don't care what anybody says.
So good callback to that. I thought, I was like, when he, pretty sure all of us kind of jumped up whenever he did that. So, it could easily be match of the night.
That was my match of the night.
My second match of the night.
Yeah. So after that, we had the
Fatal 4-way for the
women's title.
So the common denominator here is these female matches. It's the female matches. Not that the talent's bad. It's something to do with the agenting, the booking, somebody whoever's putting these matches together.
Isn't that Tony Schiavone?
Schiavone?
Is he the one over the women's matches? Women's now?
Don't know, but whoever it is needs to be replaced because that's the common denominator. Because these are 4 women: Britt Baker, Sheeta, Toni Storm, and Jamie Hayter that are phenomenal talents.
So something, and I understand that you can't always do what the crowd wants, but I think sometimes you have to have the wherewithal when the crowd is so hot, to have a last minute booking change. But that being said, everyone had heard, majority of us had heard, Storm was going to go over Thunder Rosa. We all know Thunder's out. So Storm winning the interim title does set up for a bigger feud now with Thunder, Rosa, who's also been her tag partner. I kind of would, and I wonder if this wasn't a quote unquote interim championship being fought for, if it was the legit just AEW title, if they would have last minute chosen to put it on Jamie Hayter or Britt Baker to build that Jamie Hayter Britt Baker feud, because that is coming down the pipeline. Because first, I'd never heard Jamie Hayter get so over the crowd. They were very behind her. She looked great in the ring. It's one of the best I've seen her in the ring. Toni Storm's just lackluster for me. I think she's got a great look, but in ring, to me, she's just kind of eh. And I said that from the beginning. So,
Well, the least important thing of professional wrestling is the wrestling.
well, and I get that, but I mean, her promo skills to me aren't great.
Let's go down the list. Her promos aren't good.
I mean, just, she doesn't get much time on the mic anyways, but it's just one of those things that, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, heck, even Sasha Banks and Bayley, have been the top of their company because they're good in the ring, they're good on the mic, and they have a good look. For me, now I'll say I don't know how good Jamie Hayter's mic skills are. Haven't heard her talk much. We know Britt Baker has has all those qualities. She's good on the mic. She can draw heat as a heel, but at the same time, people love her as a heel. She gets, she's got a good look. She's good in the ring. And I don't know, just
if it knocks your teeth out and then she fixes them.
I feel like that's just where AEW's women's division is lacking. They don't have that quote unquote star power other than Britt Baker.
Sasha and Naomi do end up back in WWE. I think it was definitely a misboat on Tony's part, not getting them in quickly.
Or they were never going in the first place.
Well, I mean, they were never taken down off the WWE roster page, so.
Yeah, that was never.
We'll see.
They were never available.
Can't read everything. Can't believe everything you read on the internet, right?
Yeah.
So next match, we had
Christian Cage and Jungle Boy.
match of the night.
Not mine.
Christian Cage.
Yeah. Well, so Christian's hurt or something?
A torn tricep or bicep.
Okay, so I see what they did.
That's why he came out with a brace on. Never took his shirt off.
I get it.
Worked everyone.
The Big Show turn with Lucha. The Big Show turned 3 times in.
Oh yeah,
every
like a
week.
Yeah. Which and I think that was a last minute thing. I think they only did that because Christian couldn't work.
Yeah, well, I think they pulled something quick.
They had to.
Well, and the crowd really wanted to see this pay off, so they kept it to the forefront by keeping something happening. So,
when Luchasaurus turned face, so he originally turned heel, attacked Jungle Boy, then he came out, turned face with Jungle Boy. Was he wearing the black mask or the green mask?
He's still in black.
He stayed black the whole time.
I can't remember. I was gonna say it would be something if they made it where heel with his black mask, like whichever mask he wore was.
What's his mood for the day? It's like a mood. It's like a mood ring.
Like
My mood mask
from Jim Carrey.
Smoke it.
It's my mood mask. No, I was kind of wondering the same thing along those lines because he had the black mask.
I loved him being introduced as Jungle Boy Jack Perry. That gave me chills. That was pretty sweet.
Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Jack Perry.
Well, talking about
Justin Roberts. Yeah.
Seeing Jungle Boy's mom and sister in the crowd was pretty sweet.
Slap
I can see where they get the hair from.
Slap Christian Cage.
They all have the same hair.
I mean, Luke Perry had very nice hair too, but no, I get the long curls. I get it.
Yeah. The smack was funny.
Yeah. That's the hardest hit he got tonight.
And now you're coming up to what I think was match of the night,
which was
Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
I thought it's right up there. I mean, they're the tag team match and this match. I mean, it can go either way.
It's not it's obvious that it's not a finished feud.
Yeah,
you got Chris Jericho giving the donkey kick in the nuts, a low blow, in order to get the advantage over Bryan Danielson.
I just think the match just had like flow and structure and reasoning. It just seemed well timed, and the selling was on point. The pacing was exquisite. I just think everything. It just goes to show you that like these two veterans they've been doing it so long. It's just perfect.
I feel like we got to see why Chris Jericho is considered the GOAT. Why some people consider him the GOAT. You got to see him in a super technical match, but you also got the storytelling side of it to where at times he'd get frustrated and would revert or want to revert back to, listen, screw technical wrestling. I just want to brawl type of thing.
Yep.
In the end, he finally just got ticked off, decided to do donkey kick, and then Judas Effect 1, 2, 3.
I love that we're getting Chris Jericho to the point where like, dude, you don't know what, like he has a plethora of gimmicks, right? And he just pulls one out, whoever he feels it needs to be. I love it.
I'm waiting for him to pull out the sports entertainer Jericho with the list.
Think you could do that? I don't think WWE has a hold on that.
They could spin it something.
It wouldn't be the list of Jericho. It'd be like, you just made the notepad. I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. Who knows what even Jericho's future is?
The Jericho Journal. You just got put in the Jericho Journal.
I love it. I love Chris Jericho, man. I'm a huge
AEW Galaxy. Appreciate us. I love that every time. Every time I hear that, I laugh. So good.
He's the best.
But it definitely plays more. You know, him doing the low blow, the whole storyline with Garcia.
Yeah.
And he didn't come out. He was looking on the monitor backstage, and you could just tell he was so disappointed.
Well, and that's also what we get. Where I think we're hoping we get Daniel Garcia in the BCC.
I don't like. So they announced that Garcia was fighting Yuta Dynamite for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. I don't like that just because that was the match that happened at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
No,
I mean, it was, Yuta hasn't defended that. That's the last time he's defended the title. And it was against, I don't know, it just seems like it rehashed.
Well, unless you get the side of where Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia, Bryan Danielson leaves Bullet Combat Club because of his relationship with Garcia and the fact that he doesn't like Yuta or something. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a way they could spin it, especially, or you get to where the the BCC has a more synonymous roll across both brands to where you have multiple members on AEW, multiple members on Ring of Honor. I don't know how they're gonna do that.
So what I really see happening is, so Jericho cut the promo later about not being in his corner. So I see JAS costing him the match, because he does have that rapport with Bryan, and then
sure.
Him kind of coming to Yuta's back, like them beating down Yuta, and kind of sending him off, and then that leads to furthers the story along with him joining BCC.
Well, and then you have that because Jericho Appreciation Society has Cool and Luke. They have 5 right now with Daniel Garcia, 4 without. And then you could easily have, well, heck, Daniel Garcia joining the Bullet Combat Club may create a tag team with Bryan Danielson to where they give a run for some type of tag team title or something. I mean, who knows? We don't know.
Tune in Wednesday.
Tune in Wednesday night, 8:00 on TBS.
Everybody should be listening to this on Wednesday, so tune in tonight.
Yeah. Wednesday nights, 8:00. Last but not least, you had are we at the last match? We got 2 more matches.
The House of Black match.
Oh yeah. House of Black versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. You can still tell Miro doesn't like Darby Allin or really anybody. He
dropped the ball with no CJ Perry debut.
Yeah.
I mean, you had what's her name out there anyway?
Julia Hart. But you have to wonder if that's because of everything that transpired after the match with
Touche.
With Malachi, waving to the crowd, taking a bow and walking out. Some people say you heard it was believed that AEW was not going to release Malachi Black. They were just going to give him time off. Today we found out Malachi Black is no longer on the AEW roster page. At least that's what I read. I didn't go check it myself, but that's my understanding.
MJF was also not on AEW's roster page.
It's true. So you have to wonder if that's why, Malachi's been having some personal issues he's been dealing with. So really trying to focus on his mental health. May end up leaving wrestling altogether. We don't know. We do wish the best for him. Best wishes. Hope you, Malachi, if you ever listen to this, hope you get whatever you need to get taken care of, man. We enjoy watching you in the ring, and enjoy your work for sure. But you had Sting,
who looks amazing at 63 years old. He outworks everyone. That was for you, Johnathan.
Stinger Gage.
Dude, Sting is amazing. Fine wine.
Yeah.
Fine wine. And I love watching him. So
I love the Miz, by the way. Using the Miz to win the match was fantastic.
I definitely thought that was very, very slick. But is it like a reverse mist? I don't know. I felt like it was a callback to Muda.
I was gonna say partly because of Malachi, but just knowing his history with Muda and stuff, like it was kind of neat. And I want to say that he's done that before. I tried to find a video to see, but I think like back in like WCW New Japan, like he did that against Muda.
I'm sure.
Matches, like bit the Miz. So I thought it was kind of neat.
Well, and I think it's storytelling. Maybe if Malachi is indeed done either permanently or for a long period of time, was the mist being used on him the one thing that could quote unquote take him out?
Yeah.
So it was interesting storytelling.
Yeah. And if you've ever heard Malachi in any interviews when he's talking about storytelling is his like favorite thing of all. He puts in a lot of thought into matches, storytelling, his character work. You can hear a lot of that on multiple interviews. I heard about a lot of it on Talk is Jericho whenever he first signed with AEW. Really good interview. Take a listen. You can find that on major podcast players and take a listen. But now House of Black falls to Sting, Darby, and Miro. Big spots, great spots. Darby Allin continues to put his body in danger, and I've never seen it. Man, every time he runs and dives between the bottom and the second rope, I think back to Enzo Amore whenever he about broke his neck, trying to get thrown out by Simon. What's his name?
Simon Gotch?
Yeah, Simon Gotch. I always worry about that.
Darby's face paint looked amazing too.
Yeah. Very, very apocalyptic.
So good.
Yeah, it was a good match in my opinion.
That leaves us with the main event. CM Punk versus Jon Moxley.
Yeah, CM Punk wins C- of the night. I tell you what, they definitely, the way they started the match, definitely thought there was a possibility of them giving Punk the quick win, hit the GTS rather early.
That would have been interesting too. That would have been an interesting way to finish it.
Definitely, I would believe it was going to happen as the events were unfolding.
He hit it. I was like, what? One. Okay. Dude, and I think that's what I was talking about earlier, where the ref went to go 3, and he just kind of, instead of coming down the mat, he kind of rolled his shoulder and wrist so that he didn't come down on 3. But I was like, man, talking about the pop that would have gotten if it would have ended like that. The
crowd was interesting to start.
Yep.
As it progressed, it went.
Like it went too long. Well, I felt like that match went a little too long. I mean, only because you could see how gassed. Punk was. And who knows? Maybe that was just part of the storytelling. Or what could have been. I definitely felt like he was just like he was gassing and barely keep going.
I didn't get that vibe as much, but it was weird having Moxley squash whatever him the week before. Yeah. It was kind of weird. I was like, where are they going with this? Didn't really have much hope, and then Ace came out and cut that promo, and I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm in. And then I think the match.
It's not all he cut that week, but yeah, continue. It's not all he's cut that this week, but
true. But I was happy with the match. I mean, I think it went the right amount of time. I think they had, both had spots. It was believable. I think, it was. I wasn't sure going into it because of the way that Moxley won that they were going to be able to make it, like, have me invested in the longer the match went on.
Well, let's be honest. The finish is what we all expected.
yeah. Well, I think if you're having that pay-per-view anywhere else but Chicago, it doesn't work. Having Dynamite Rampage and All Out on Chicago that week, Punk being the hometown guy I think that's why it worked so well. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it works any other way.
And then that led to the big reveal.
Big reveal.
Which I would have done booking a little different. I would have cashed in on Punk that night. Like, you want to really upset that crowd. I would have the Joker, regardless who it was. Punk wins. Lights go out. Gets taken out. Lights come on. Reveal. Pin. Steal a belt in Chicago. I think that would have made.
I mean, but after everything that's transpired, you have to wonder if this is a Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels scenario to where, Bret doesn't want to give up the belt in his hometown and Punk didn't either.
I mean, I could see Punk being that way.
So it's weird for me because as much as I enjoyed the first segment of the show, the way they did the Joker, I did not, and I don't know if it was because our feed froze and it just took me, literally the lights went out and our feed froze, and then we were like panicking trying to figure out what we missed, and then it came back on during the voicemail. I don't know if we really missed anything, but
what were you watching it on?
TV.
Pay-per-view.
Oh, Fight TV? What were you using? Mambo?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
But,
my feed didn't freeze.
I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the way the reveal happened. Like, I don't know. Like, something about it was awful. I don't know if it was like
it was
He
lazy.
didn't really speak. I mean, he just came out and like they had the voicemail, and then MJF just kind of walked out,
which was cool.
The voicemail was cool. And I have some. I think they can play into it a little bit more, especially with what happened after the show. But him just coming out, like, at first I didn't think he was going to talk at all. I mean, towards the end, he finally started like antagonizing the crowd, but I don't know. I just didn't. I don't feel like it hit the way.
But here's the thing:
I wanted it to.
What you saw there, you saw the Chicago crowd completely turn on Punk when MJF came out. On this end, all you could hear on this end was MJF, 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 and then people were stoked. And then, like, as it was fading to black, MJF starts flipping off the crowd, and everybody starts booing again.
Everybody remembered who
he's a jerk. He's a so.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. People just happy to see him back. That's all. I mean, I get it.
But with all that had transpired that entire night, and as great of a show as it was, nothing
was all ruined
compared to what we got in the post-medium scrub.
Was it ruined?
And what we've heard has transpired since. If you want to catch the post-medium scrub, go listen to it yourself. CM Punk went absolutely off. I watched it, and to be honest, got quite uncomfortable.
Just look at Tony's face.
I was more uncomfortable for Tony than I was anything else.
Horrible.
Work, shoot, whatever.
Every time Punk talked, I mean, Tony's eyes got real big, and he was like, "Oh."
And Tony said something about. He said something. I watched that post-media scrub, and he said something about, man, I should have dodged that question, or something that one of the questions that was asked to Punk that really set it off
what was asked about Colt Cabana?
Tony wish he like stepped in, I think.
Earlier. I mean, not the post media scrum, like weeks earlier, like when it came out. Because the whole thing, I don't know. I think we missed something, and I haven't really seen any reports saying anything. But when I started watching it, like it had the All Out logo, and then you could like the audio cut on before the video feed, and you could hear like Punk was already responding to somebody. So I think that they missed a little bit of the audio at the beginning. I don't know what was said. Something had to have been said. I don't think he just sat down and went off. I think something was definitely asked.
I think it was a question in regards to some of the stuff that's going down about, because he addresses he's like, for the fact that you're going to, Punk mentions, hey, I have been friends with Colt, Kelselby's shoot name, since 2013, 2014. I haven't been friends with the guy. He's like, the fact that it's 2022, and you sit up here and you ask me questions like this and make accusations, and then he goes into the EVP stuff about how I've gotten this guy fired, this, that, and the other, and goes through a list of things.
It was unprofessional in every way, shape, and form.
Well, for me, it's on both parts. He was unprofessional in his response. The person asking the question was unprofessional, and they're asking that question. I mean,
it definitely set him off.
Everyone in the wrestling industry knows his, everyone in the industry knows his how he feels on that subject. So why even bring it up?
Poking the bear.
Got a good story. That's what they got.
Yeah, a real good story afterwards.
So.
I mean, I think all around, everybody involved from that time the scrum started to the end was unprofessional. Not just Punk. I mean, I think Tony did the best he could in the moment, because he has to be careful what he says. But I think everything that has been reported that transpired after Punk walked off, I think all of it's unprofessional on all sides. No matter,
there should be punishment across the board.
Who was right or who was wrong. But I do think there was some things missed when the scrum started, because I got home. I mean, I left here, it was about an hour drive home, and I got home and I saw somebody post about Punk going off, and then that's when I went on and watched it, and then I messaged you. I was like, something definitely happened. Like, it was blurring the lines between what's real and what's part of the show is one thing, but it seemed very real on multiple levels.
And I remember my first question to you was, work or shoot? And you're like, pretty sure it's legit. So I went and watched it. I'm like, oh, yeah, this ain't good.
But
and it only got worse.
But again, some people, and I know we're here all hearing from different and reading from different places. Some people are saying the dirt sheets is where the kayfabe is kept at now. That both people are saying both AEW and WWE are learning to work the dirt sheets to keep kayfabe.
That's kind of why I brought up I think there was something missed, because the way the audio cut on, Punk was already talking, responding to somebody. So I think, if you're doing a legit,
or was it intentional
media scrum thing, like you have everybody sit down and like video starts and everything before it starts.
Did y'all see the tweet that Colt Cabana liked today?
I think it was
last night.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Or he liked it. I think he actually liked it or posted it before the scrum. It was like the day before the scrum, but it just got reported where it talked about the media scrum and the media being part of the show. If you're going to sit down and ask questions after a show, like you're part of it.
Yeah, but I guess for me, the fact that he, I don't know, it's just one of those things that, kind of one of those blurred line things, Yeah, he liked the tweet. An event where pro wrestlers answer questions, quote unquote, in character is not a press conference. It is a performance portraying a press conference. He asked questions at such an event. You are not a reporter. You're a performer taking part in the portrayal. He this post appears to be throwing shade at Punk following his comments as well with WWE. Punk had to go to headline WrestleMania, but ultimately it never happened. Man, I don't know.
I mean, and the heat's all between Punk and Hangman, and
Heyman wasn't even there.
Hangman wasn't there.
He was gone.
They said Hangman went off script, like in business for his own first. None of that got reported until after Punk the following week when Punk came out, and they were like, "Oh, Punk went off script." And so I think that's where Punk's like, "Hey, like I get it, Hangman's your buddy, but like you guys are, vice presidents of this company. Like you can't, if they do something, you can't not go, you can't take their side, and then when I do it, criticize me and not come to my defense, that kind of thing." So I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it's not good. So like the one thing I'm from what all the different reports I've come to the conclusion of is that it seems like Punk was in his locker room with AJ, and they came barging in his room.
Again, that's where I'm unprofessional.
Okay, so all right, so now you're at the point of all right, yeah, Punk just verbally assaulted you, like obliterated everybody, embarrassed the company as a whole. That's one thing, but he's not being physically threatening in any way, shape, or form, and then you come barging in his locker room because you're mad at what he said.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an act of aggression. Now and I guess maybe that's why Ace might have gotten involved. That Ace might have been in the locker room, maybe.
Well, no, his wife was in the locker room watching Larry.
Because you said, when we were messaging, you said, if Ace really hit Jackson with a chair or something like that, and he needs to be gone. And then the next report I saw said that, like Ace was worried about his wife. And I was like, well,
I'd fight for my wife too.
Someone
goes barging in the locker room where my wife is at, yelling and raising Cain. Yeah, I want to go in there and defend my wife. And if you're in the way, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and
don't be in my way.
It's a very, very bad situation.
Ron throwing a chair at Roman,
but somebody said one of the Jackson brothers was seen, and
Nick,
nasty black guy.
Yeah.
Nasty black guy. So, it's like one of those things, man. It's like, remember back in the day with Vince and the black guy, when Hart,
he got knocked out.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, man. I can understand it from all sides, but also all sides are unprofessional. I think Tony. You guys know how I feel about Tony Khan. I love Tony Khan. I love AEW, but man, you are the leader, the face of the second largest professional wrestling company in the world, and that wants to be competition to the largest professional wrestling company in the world. Well, I can tell you what Vince wouldn't have done, wouldn't have allowed. If that happened under Vince's watch, you're gone. So you need to grow a set, man, and just quit befriending everybody and put business first.
So what do you think happens from here? Not what should happen. What do you think happens?
What I think should happen and what I think will happen are two completely different things. I think nothing happens. Honestly, I don't know. Like I don't foresee Tony getting rid of his golden goose in CM Punk. I don't see that happening. I don't see Tony wanting to upset Kenny Omega, who's arguably the best professional wrestler in the world. I don't see him wanting to upset anybody in the Elite, the Young Bucks. If anything happens, Ace Steel gets let go.
They've already said, I read earlier, he's already let go.
Yeah, nothing official yet, but that would be my guess. What I think should happen, Punk should be gone. I think the EVP title should be ripped from them. They should be suspended. And Punk gone more for the fact of what he did in the scrum. everything
I do
he
think it
said.
made the company look bad.
It's a black eye.
But kind of to your point where you were talking about, Punk leaving, but not wanting to make Kenny and the Bucks mad. Yes, they're EVPs and the company's kind of founded on them, but Warner Brothers is not going to want Punk gone. I mean, that's not just from a AEW. I mean, from a company standpoint, not just Tony. I mean, they're not calling the shots. Tony's calling the shots. But if all your meetings and everything you've done, it's kind of all been around Punk. He's been the face of the company. I don't see that being a move that Tony wants to make from a behind the scenes standpoint either.
I'm still at a loss of words, man. I just can't, I keep pinching myself, did this really happen? This is absolutely ludicrous that something like this could happen. But it goes back to Cody Rhodes, man. When we all couldn't believe, nobody could believe Cody Rhodes would even think about leaving AEW, and when he did, there's just some truth to some of this stuff, man. This is crazy.
I think AEW uses this, and I think they take everything that's happened, and whether they turn Punk heel and MJF face somehow, one way or the other, I think they take this, and I think they put it in their writing and say,
and they make money off it.
That'd
be smart business, but I don't foresee it.
Two things with MJF. So, first I saw somebody, a post where somebody was like, man, the person I feel the most out of this is MJF. He comes back and nobody's talking about him coming back. Yep. It's all about Punk. But then the next post after that was payback's a beep, because that's exactly what happened. Wardlow won, and nobody was talking about Wardlow beating MJF. It was all about MJF walking out, not coming, and they were like, it's just karma. It all comes back. But we were talking earlier, if they release Punk or if they strip the title because MJF's the Joker, I was like, I just don't they can't just give the belt to him. The more I thought about it, I disagree. So I was thinking, because it would be his first title win, that it would be well,
let's go back here. We're also forgetting that we're not reporting on the injury that Punk supposedly has. So Punk supposedly has torn his pec, his bicep, because of this fight.
Post-medium scruff.
Yeah, because of this fight they had in the back. So now, all right, now you had the face of the company who just obliterated the company, embarrassed the company, and now just got injured being an idiot.
So for whatever reason, if Punk doesn't have the belt, whether it be suspended, injury, let go, whatever, I was I don't really see, even though MJF's won the casino ladder match or has the title shot, I just don't agree with just handing him the belt because this is his first title win. In sports you would call it an asterisk kind of thing. I was I don't know, I feel like it would take away from the moment. The more I thought about it, but because they played the voicemail where Tony was begging begging MJF to come back, I think that's how you play it into the story, and then have Tony come out, talk about how either Punk's not going to have the title, and then MJF come out and be you have no other choice. I'm here. This is what you brought me back for, and then basically have Tony get bullied or reluctantly give MJF the title because you'd get the heat, but then it would. The only downside is I think the more because of the way Tony reacted in the scrum, and the more you do that, whereas Vince and Stone Cold, he was the authority figure and thing. I think you're going to continue to make Tony look weak. I think that's what I got out of a lot of it.
No leadership.
No
Zero.
leadership. So you can play into that.
Well, my only thought was, he says, hey, I'm cashing this in, but there's no champion for me to fight, so it should just be mine. With his big chip.
And they could even incorporate Moxley some way as the previous interim champion.
A lot to think about for sure. Guys, we've had
Well, it's Wednesday night. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means.
yeah, Dynamite 8
So
o'clock.
there's no the show's gonna open with something with this.
We'll find out soon.
It has to.
Well, I mean,
It's fresh. Oh, and also another thing too is let's not forget like AEW is not talking about anything. You notice that, and Tony's not saying anything because there's some legal
stuff,
some legal things going on.
and there's also
Who knows?
there's also rumors circulating around that over half the talent that's supposed to be there for tonight's show hasn't made it to the broadcasting place yet. So,
Yeah, all the elite Punk, they're not gonna be there supposedly.
so, man, we'll see. See what happens.
It is fun.
Yeah.
I love Caprice Coleman.
Yeah,
He's phenomenal.
yeah. Shout out to Caprice again. Thank you for your time, hanging out with us.
I want to be like him when I grew up.
Stuff.
I mean, I don't know where we're at on time. I feel like we've talked a lot, but I can't even begin to touch football.
You know what? We're at 2 hours and 50 minutes so far. So, you know what? Next week may just be a football episode. What you think?
I was proud of the Gamecocks. you got me thinking that. I was thrilled, man. I was telling Elliot last week that
O-line's rough.
oh,
O-line is rough.
It's week 1.
let's
They are a weak one. You're right.
come on. No, but I was telling Elliot last week that this really needed to be a statement game. I was a little nervous how it started. It really needed to be like a 35-point game, a blowout. They really picked it up in the second half. I was very
Special teams was amazing.
special teams, and I was actually happy with Spencer Rattler's performance. I mean, in game one,
Man, so two things I saw in the game. I thought Spencer Rattler played well. I felt like he was running around for his life a lot. And man, the receiving core did not help him out at all. Now Stogner, the tight end that came from Oklahoma, dude, he's so big. He is massive, dude.
and I pointed it to on Facebook to the kicking game, special teams game. I think that's going to be big. That's going to prove big down the line against when you are in these games against your Clemsons and
2 long field goals, 2 block punts. It was like I said, all around special teams was on point.
Josh Van underperformed big time. Yeah, guy who decided not to enter the draft, come back and build his stock up some more. Arguably the best wide receiver they had last year. And he couldn't catch COVID. Well, too soon, Johnathan.
Johnathan just got over COVID.
I sure did. It was not fun.
He's like, I don't want it again.
I mean, all around, I was impressed with Rattler. He had one terrible throw. I mean, me and Shane were messaging, and I was like, "Yes, Rattler's look really good." And like as soon as I said it, he threw the interception, and I was like, "He did not there."
And the other pick didn't look like it was his fault.
Yeah.
Well, no, there was one that the receiver completely dropped and got intercepted. So,
But I mean, for the most part, like his accuracy on the run was, I thought his best quality.
He's always been better throwing on the run. It feels like.
I did see an interview after the game where he was talking about the atmosphere, which they released a bunch of videos before the game of them adding like red and white LED lights during Sandstorm, and I saw videos of that people sent me, and what I saw on TV, it looked amazing.
I had several friends that went to the game who said, "Dude, like they score a touchdown and it goes pitch black, and then the light show starts." They said, "Man, it is talking about something that'll make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up."
Rattler said after the game that talking about the atmosphere and how impressed he was. And I mean, he played at Oklahoma, so it wasn't like he transferred from a smaller school. So I think,
he said there's nothing like it.
I think, the bright lights, so to speak, I think, we'll see how week 2 goes. I mean, it might have just been for it to impress him that much coming from another big school, that has a lot of history. I think, that kind of says something for the atmosphere at Williams-Brice. So we'll see. I mean, it could have just been in the moment. Also a lot of expectations and hype around the Gamecocks going into week 1. So.
There was, but at the same time, you didn't expect Georgia State to come out with a win. They kept it close for a little while, but in the end, South Carolina was just too big.
And something I'd like to see with South Carolina too is like they rely on being a second half team too much.
Oh, yeah, you got
rather than getting out in front and
first game of the season. I kind of get it. Clemson ran into the same issues last night. And we can touch that game here in a little bit, but I think defensively, I think Carolina looked good. The offense coordinator has been saying he finally got his quarterback, but man, it's just issues with the offensive line and drop balls can make an offense coordinator look like he don't know what he's doing.
We have South Carolina plays Arkansas this week, and they look pretty good against Cincinnati. So
yeah,
it'll be a good test, and I think we'll finally we'll be able to see what we really have. Because of all the hype, I was like, I can't wait for the Georgia game. After Saturday, I cannot. I'm not looking forward to the Georgia game.
I'll be happy to wait for the Georgia game. Yeah. Well, so another game we had Monday night was Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech looked pretty good defensively. Up and play the game. They drop back there, throw a pass. Clemson intercepts it. I was thrilled with that. But it looks like right now, same issue from last year. Although I felt DJ Uyunglele looked better. He's trimmed up. He's lost about 30 pounds. He's moved a little bit better than he did last year. There were several balls that could have easily been caught by the wide receivers, similar to South Carolina. If receivers catch the ball, you have a completely different outlook on the game, possibly. Yeah. But Cade Klubnik came in, and you talking about someone who looked ready.
DJ better watch out. DJ
loses his starting job.
DJ definitely made some plays, but I don't think he looked much better than last year.
So here's something that the commentators said that, really, it's really one of those things. It's like, So some people said, it's similar to, someone made the comment, Cade is behind DJ this year, similar to how DJ was behind Trevor. And another commentator said, no, I would say this is more like Trevor behind Kelly. Cade's just waiting for his time. I said,
between last year and then this first game, there's not really been a moment where I've looked at DJ and was like, I think he's got it. He's had good plays, but when your supporting cast is really good, you should have those plays. It's up to you to kind of elevate everybody else, and I don't see him elevating the people around him.
Well, and Clemson's O-line is struggling this year too. We got a young O-line. Again, had a young one last year. So got a young O-line this year. Defensively, though, I was quite thrilled, quite impressed. Special teams, two block punts. Didn't think I was going to see that at all. Clemson ends up with the win, 41-10. And overall for the state, pretty good weekend in football.
And it's week 1.
It's week 1.
A long way to go.
And NFL starts this week. Thursday night we got
Buffalo and the Rams.
Thursday. Anywhere no Stafford.
Josh Allen.
I'd heard Stafford was going to be out. Is he back? He back?
Playing. So he's got a elbow issue or something that they said it's kind of. It's been bothering him since last year. it just kind of came out during the offseason. But they said that he should be good to go for week 1, and that they don't see it causing him any problems.
I think Josh Allen's best quarterback in the league right now.
I got him in my fantasy team Sunday. 4th round.
That's a steal.
Yeah, well, keeper league. So
His first pick.
it was my first pick, but it was 4th round.
Is Brady back?
Brady's
Who?
back.
Brady is back.
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah, he opens up against the Cowboys Sunday night, prime time. I can't wait. Let's go. Please keep it close.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with him and Giselle. Sounds like that's why he had his 11-day hiatus there from camp for a while.
He was filming The Masked Singer.
Yeah,
That's still what I'm going with.
Yeah, he was definitely filming The Masked Singer. For sure. I can't wait.
But I don't. Did y'all see any of the highlights, or did y'all catch the game between North Carolina and Appalachian State?
I did.
I was reading something about it, but I didn't watch any of that.
Yeah, App State should have won.
Wild.
That wasn't that like that 60 to 60. Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't watch any of the highlights. I just read the score.
But the score was like 40-40 with like 4 minutes left. I mean,
Oh, my Lord.
North Carolina, they won the game by a point. So Appalachian State should have won or could have won. The very last play, they scored a touchdown. They went for 2. The guy caught his first pass of the game for the touchdown, and then they went to go for 2 for the win instead of the tie. And the guy was wide open, and the ball was just like he was backpedaling, and the ball was just out of reach.
If he runs instead of backpedals, he catches it and wins.
They win. But you always see things. You're like, there's rules for a reason. Things happen the way they are. So Appalachian State was in comeback mode, trying to score. They did an onside kick. North Carolina, all the Appalachian State people fell down. North Carolina guy just picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown, which gave Appalachian State time with the ball back to score. If he just would have caught the ball and fell down and taken a knee, North Carolina could have ran the clock out. So it shouldn't have gotten to that point. But,
yeah.
The last 4 minutes, the whole game was wild. The score was 63-62. But the last, 4 minutes, you'd have to, see the highlights to believe it. It just wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah, you also had Florida State beat LSU and
Blocked extra point.
Blocked extra point wins the game. What's that? They had 2 blocked extra points, right?
I know they missed the one.
They missed one and blocked another one
for the tie. A lot of people are making fun because Coach O. They got rid of Coach O. They brought in Brian Kelly, and the one coach that followed Brian Kelly from Notre Dame to LSU was the special teams coach.
Well, so interesting thing is that that Brian Kelly hasn't won a season opener in the past 5 years. So I thought that was interesting. They shared that. There's in season openers, Brian Kelly is 0-5. So
yeah, that was probably my 2 outside of Carolina and Clemson. My 2 biggest takeaways were just how crazy the North Carolina game was, and then
Pittsburgh, West Virginia was a good game too.
So I watched.
There's a lot of
games
good
Thursday, games Friday. Kind of going into it, I was really glad college football was back, and there was so many close games. They came down to the wire, last play. Yeah, that's what college football is. But other than college football being back, my 2 biggest takeaways were North Carolina, the craziness there, and then I didn't see Georgia beating Oregon like that. I thought Georgia was going to win, but I wasn't even watching the game. I pulled up the score, and it was second quarter, and it was 30-3 or something. I was like,
a comeback ain't happening. Yeah, they look really good. And Florida pulls it out against Utah.
Yeah,
the Utes.
SEC was 13-0 until LSU lost by blocked extra point.
Well, I'm just still trying to figure out how that extra syllable gets added in a Gamecock chant of U of SC go. Is that what they're saying now?
No.
I have not heard that.
They better not be.
They still. They should because it's right.
USC.
Of SC.
Nobody says that. You do just because you like to get a rise out of people. It's the stupidest thing I've ever read, and it looks dumb typed.
It's okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Good.
Your sound effects, sir. I heard your sound effects in my ear last night. It's bedtime, ladies and gentlemen.
I do have one thing to say before we get off.
Okay.
And you'll be proud. To all our listeners, make sure you come out and check out night 1 of the Commentator Classic this Saturday at Taylor Plantation.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
it's we're too tired. Yeah, dude, it's absolutely insane the number of pre-sales we've done. Triple-digit pre-sales.
I have a strong feeling I can't make it,
or you might. Maybe your boss will figure out a way to get you in there. No, God. But yeah, so it's gonna be absolutely amazing. First year of the Palmetto Classic. That's gonna be a tag team tournament. We saw the makeshift team made by Henry Sugars between Drew Adler and J.R. Riley.
We did.
That's going to be interesting. I'm ecstatic. So I think it's going to be a great time at Taylor Plantation this Saturday. Tickets are on sale now. PalmettoChampionshipWrestling.net.
Yeah. Heat Seekers are back.
I love Heat Seekers.
My understanding, Heat Seekers are back this week, and per Ethan Case, no,
don't know yet.
It was rumored that might see the Workhorsemen. We'll see what happens if we were able to get that or not. But that is the rumor per Ethan Case on the pre-show live stream. Which, by the way, you can catch us again for the pre-show this Saturday. We'll try and get it going around 3. We'll be live from Taylor Plantation for a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Guys, what's up? Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
No, brother. I'm just
you kind of caught your head,
basking in your glory.
Oh, basking in his glory.
Man, he's just looking at the microphone the way Tony Khan looks at a water bottle.
Oh God.
But now, I just want to thank you guys both for having me on. I had a blast.
Yeah, man. Who knows? Maybe we can get those tres amigos up here more often. Cool kids table, whatever we call it.
The big kids table.
Big kids table.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wolfpack.
For life. Hey.
I was a one-man wolf pack. I'm glad I made you both smile.
Such a good movie.
Yeah,
such a good movie.
My life is revolved around that movie.
Not at the table, Carlos.
He's checking his little weenus.
Well,
on that note.
On that note,
sorry,
guys. This is
had to leave you a little popcorn
podcast. I am Elliot.
I'm Shane,
and I'm Johnathan.
And we'll catch you next time. And as always, keep it popping.
Later in this, I don't have to drive an hour.
Oh,